We lived together for a majority of your life. Would you say that I was would sort of have been an example or a role model for you since I was older than you? You know what I'm talking about? And then when we look at things and dealing with the word, most of us come up out of, well, not all of us, but some of us that came up out of congregations where people didn't live right, didn't set a proper example there. So we have to look at the people who deal with the word. They have to set a proper example. And as we look at that, let's go to 1 Peter, the 5th chapter, and the first verse. Mm-hmm. 1 Peter 5 and 1. Listen to what he says. He says, the elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of the Messiah, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So if he's telling you not by constraint, what is he telling you? Anybody know what that means? Constraint being like this here by force or things of that nature. You know what I'm talking about? But he say, but willingly, and not saying that somebody making you do it. You know what I'm talking about? It's got to be something that you willingly are going to do. Because you see the first thing he told you need to do? What's the first thing he said you need to do? You need to feed the flock. So let's look at Ezekiel 34. Hold this 1 Peter 5. Look at Ezekiel 34. This is the number one thing which men are not doing. That's why he said you can't be greedy for filthy lucre. A lot of men are greedy for filthy lucre. A lot of men want money. They want a claim. They want a name. They want people to tell them why they this, that, that, and other. Ezekiel 34 and 1. He said, and the word of Yah came unto me saying, Son of man, prophecy against the shepherds of Israel. So if he's telling the prophecy against the shepherd, what is he talking about? He's talking about the pastors, isn't he? Because when he's talking about the elders, he's encouraging the elders to feed the flock and to do it willingly. And he say in prophecy and say unto them, Thus saith Yah unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Shall not the shepherds feed the flocks? See, that's the whole problem. When we look at the majority of these people, irregardless of what they come out of, you see it more in Sunday churches. But there's a man right now. You ever heard of a man named Jermaine Grant? Any of y'all ever heard of a man named Jermaine Grant? Anybody ever heard of him by his other name called Tazadak or whatever they call him? Well, you know, he calls himself the Comforter. Do any of y'all know what the Comforter is? According to this book, what the book say the Comforter is? Yeah, well, this is a grown man in New York City that says he is the God-given Comforter. That's written of in John 14. He said he the Comforter. You know what I'm talking about? You know what this nigga do? See, he feeds himself and don't feed the flock. Nigga pull up in Rolls Royces and Bentleys. Nigga's a rapper. Nigga just made an action figure of himself. Literally. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Like, dude literally made an action figure of himself and sued the company because they made him too light-skinned. I'm talking about straight up. But he's supposed to be a shepherd if he over the congregation. He don't call himself a shepherd or a pastor, though. He called himself a priest. You know what I'm talking about? But he's not feeding. Who is he feeding? If I'm pulling up in the Benz with a fat chain on, is I'm getting fed or is the flock getting fed? He said right now, he said shouldn't a shepherd feed the flock? Because guess what? Let's look what happens, though, if a shepherd is getting fed properly. Let's go to Romans 2 real fast. Because if a shepherd been fed the true bread, then he wouldn't act like this. But see, what he talking about is a shepherd is taking all the money and he keeping it for himself. That's why you just read it, too. That's why he just read and told you, an elder can't be greedy for filthy lucre. You can't do this for no money. I want you to look at Romans 2 and 1. Listen what he tells him. He say, Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judge, for when thou judge another, thou condemn thyself, for thou that judge do the same things. He say, But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judge them which do such things and do the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God? Now, we ain't got to the whole point what I'm talking about, but if a shepherd teaching the word, should he be contrary to it, or should he be in line with it? He should be in line with it. So if he stands out here, and most of these Israelite congregations, this is what they do. They get on these people out here because they don't keep Sabbath days. They don't keep feast days. Because they eat bacon and pork chops. You know what I'm talking about? But then you turn around and you commit adultery. You are a whoremonger. You tell lies. And you thinking that you're not going to escape that same judgment? Because he's sitting there telling you, shouldn't a shepherd feed the flock instead of feed himself? Because see, this is how the shepherds is feeding themselves. See, they telling the people lies to get their money, ain't it? See, I want you to go to Isaiah 28. This is another thing they doing. I want to say about verse 7. You can already see we got to show the difference between somebody who God sent and somebody who didn't. Somebody who was an example to the people and they were faithful, and people who weren't. Isaiah 28. Look at verse 4. He's saying, the glorious beauty which is on the head of the fat valley shall be a fading flower, and as the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he that look upon it see, while it is yet in his hand, he eat it up. And that day Yah host be for a crown of glory and a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people, and for a spirit of judgment to him that sit in judgment, and the strength to him that turn the battle to the gate. But they also have air through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have air through strong drink. They are swallowed up with wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision and stumble in judgment. I done seen many men get on my page, man, say they supposed to be priests and teachers of the word, and them niggas talking about how they drunk. Talking about they on some honey proof. Look what this man say. He say, because they getting drunk, they erring in judgment. You think you can make proper judgment when you drunk? I'm talking about much less if you think you can't make proper judgment in natural things. You really think you can make proper judgment in spiritual things, be able to feed this man people, and you killed over talking about you got a hangover? But see, look what he said in this verse 4 though. He said it'd be a glorious beauty. Because he said, when you look at verse 3, well, actually look at verse 1, he said, woe to the crown of pride to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is as a fading flower, which are on the head of fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. See, that's the whole thing. He said, you looking beautiful. You know what I'm talking about? You feeding the flock feeding you. You puffed up good. You're dressing good. You look beautiful, but you just a drunkard. You ever seen a flower fade away? Or you ever took a daffodil or what you call the thing, dandelions, and how you just blow it away? He said that beauty of them going to fade away in that same fashion. Now, how's that beauty going to fade away? He said by that spirit of judgment. Because see, when this man come to judge between the lean and the fat, something got to happen. Something got to happen. Because at the end of the day, it looks like that no one has a care for the people to be an example to the people and feed them correctly. That's why he told us in Numbers 27, don't let Yah's people be sheep without a shepherd. That don't have got nobody to lead them in and take them out. You know what I'm talking about? And who was that talking about, Dwight? When we're referring to this number 27. He said, set a man over the congregation. So I'm talking about, so obviously if the Lord is the chief shepherd, ain't he going to set up some shepherds up under him to work? You know what I'm talking about? So you're going to have to be able to tell the difference between, because the shepherds up under him to work are going to show the same example that he said. You would hope so anyway. It don't make sense you'll set somebody up to be a steward over your belongings and they ain't going to operate how you operate. You know what I'm talking about? That's how we supposed to be able to discern the two. Because wouldn't you hope that somebody would be a good example for show you how to walk if they say they represent somebody? Now, I didn't say I represented it. Indeed, I didn't say I represented anybody, but you know, best of my ability at the age I was, considering the information that I had at the time, I tried to be the best example possible for you. Then let you know, hey, there's certain things you should do and there's certain things you shouldn't do. The only bad example I gave to you was selling crack and smoking marijuana, which I knew you wasn't gonna smoke no reefer. You know what I'm talking about? But at the same time, I shouldn't have been out there in the street selling no dope. I remember that first time I went out there to hit that block for the first time, and you came up to me and say, I want to go with you. Something hit my mind like you probably shouldn't even do this here, because if you can't take Lil Muffin on the trip, you ain't got no business going. You know what I'm talking about? That was the first time I was finna hit Mayport Road. Yeah, 5 years total, because I was in prison in 5 years, but all the incarceration time total, it equaled up to about 5. You know, 24 days. Then we did 170 days. Had 73 days. And then 52 months. Huh? No, shoot, me either. You know what I'm saying? I had to spend that time with a whole bunch of grown men. Niggas like to fart and burp all around a nigga. Watch niggas get beat up with trays and stuff like that. But go back to 1 Peter 5. Hold on. Go back to verse 8 in this Isaiah 24. I want you to look at something. I'm sorry about that. Forget. Because he says shepherds should feed the flock and not feed themselves. But he said, but look at what their table's full of, though. Look at what their table's full of. I mean 28 and 8. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Let me see what's in 24 and 8 since that came to my mind. We'll go right back to it. Outstanding. Look what he said in verse 8, though. He said, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. So look at Matthew 23. Because he said, because of these men that are out the way, teaching all this stuff, he said, look here, man, your table full of vomit and filthiness. You ever seen a whole bunch of vomit on the ground before? It's quite disgusting. I have a picture of vomit on my phone right now.
Wow.
Because Nell threw up in the parking lot and decided to send me a picture of her throwing up in the parking lot. Because she got finished working out and she drank a protein shake, and our dear sister now threw up in the parking lot and decided to share that with me. Yeah. 23. I want you to look at verse 23. Hey, that's my sister. It's your sister too. Yours too. I don't know.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it. Let's delete that.
I seen it.
I'd have to scroll back through. It's an old message.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, she sent me that message. Yeah, she sent me that message when you were cutting my hair one day.
Yeah, that was your time.
Yeah, I know. Matthew 23 and 23. He said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, before you pay the tithe of mint, anise, and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye have to done, and not to leave the other undone. So now you see how these false prophets out here show a poor example. See, that's what they do. Okay, I'm paying these tithes now. I'm looking out for the poor. Remember when we read about that Pharisee? He thought he was more righteous than others. Say, I fast twice a week. I tithe everything I got. But you wicked as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Let's look what the Lord said. He said, ye blind guides which strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. So he said, the man said, you can't see where you're going. Hold what you got. Go back to Romans 2. He said, you a blind guide. Let's see how they're a blind guide. Look at Romans 2. Look at Romans 2. I want you to see verse 6, though. Matter of fact, look at verse 4. We'll work it around. We'll get back to it. Lord taking us direction for it. Romans 2 and 4. Because we done already said, the man said, does anybody think you're going to escape the judgment of God when you do the same things? That's what the Lord meant, y'all, when he said, judge not lest you be judged, if you didn't know. You know what I'm talking about? How you going to tell me don't steal and you're a whore? How you going to tell me don't lie and you beat people up? You know what I'm talking about? How's that going to work? What's the favorite picture you like to see people see? Don't judge others who sin different than you. But what if I don't sin then? Can I judge you then? You know what I'm talking about? Can I judge you that, hey man, the book say you're going to hell then? Look at verse 4. He said, do thou despise the riches of his goodness and forbearance and long suffering, not knowing that the goodness of God lead thee to repentance. See, that's the problem. See, people despise the goodness and you know what it means to forbear? You know what I'm talking about? That means, you suffer somebody. You dealing with it. Because he said whether they hear, whether you want to hear it or whether you don't want to hear it. You know what I'm talking about? Whether you want to deal with it or whether you don't want to deal with it. Because the Lord could kill you for your sin, but I forbear. You know what I'm talking about? I don't do it. I give you a little space. He said, but you don't think that you don't even know or consider that this is the goodness of God sparing your life, that you might stop sinning. But look what else he's telling. He said, but after thy hardness and impenitent heart, treasure up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath, and revelation of the righteous judgment of God, who will render to every man according to his deeds. To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory, honor, immortality, and eternal life. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, and wrath. So he's talking about, so if you following somebody who work on the word, shouldn't you give an example of the word? Shouldn't you be getting, through that patient continuance, you're going to get glory, honor, and immortality? Don't you think you will receive that? Because anybody who followed after the Lord through patient continuance, that's what they receive. Then we just read how Paul say, I fought the good fight of faith. So you have to look at this here. Who is you following? Now, if you following a dummy, this man say you're going to go to hell. Look what else he say. Verse 9. He say, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that do evil, of the Jew first and also of the Gentile. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that work good, to the Jew first and also to the Gentile. So it sounds like to me, if you're doing wrong, you done nothing. And he say tribulation come to you first. So you have to look at this here. We've been dealing with this last couple of weeks. We were just talking about this before we came on live, didn't we? Why do people think you can do wrong and you know you're doing wrong, and then you wonder why you're going through and dealing with what you're dealing with? You know what I'm talking about? It's one thing if you did know. But if you know to do right and you refuse to do right and then make excuses to justify you doing wrong, don't you think God would be just from tearing your behind up on every cut and corner, every chance he get? And you know the weird part is, Israelites like to do wrong and then tell people, see, I know I'm wrong for doing this here, but call themselves trying to straighten somebody else on what they're doing. Ain't that going right along with what Paul's? You're not showing an example, are you? So if you're not showing the example and manifesting it yourself, why would I follow it? That makes sense to anybody? Why would you follow a sour example? I think back when I was young, we used to tell them young niggas, you don't want to sell no dope. The nigga looking at me, but shit, nigga, you niggas getting money though. You know what I'm talking about? But we know the end result. You see in the cash. I got homeboy, niggas smoking dope right now. Couple niggas fighting cases. You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff in here. It's not what you think. But they don't care about all that. If it ain't what I think, why you doing it? Because I see you niggas out here getting money. You know what I'm talking about? That's all they see. You making transactions. Niggas don't be knowing you got bills to pay. You got people you taking care of. That money gone just as fast as you get it. You know what I'm talking about? Because it seems like when you selling dope, everybody got a bill they need you to pay. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody. Can you pay this for me? I need you to pay this here for me. And how you think to yourself, nigga, don't you got a job? But they don't care. They know how you getting it. You know what I'm talking about? So when you talking about you dealing with the word and you trying to tell somebody, hey, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. But you still over here doing that. You just said what Paul said right here. You're inexcusable, aren't you? You're not going to escape that. If you're going to say something about the word, then you need to be lined up with it. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you're not lined up with it, not only do you give people space to blaspheme, you know what I'm talking about? But then people going to see you for the hypocrite you are, and they're not going to want to deal with you. That's what I just was talking about. He called them blind guys. Look, drop down here to about verse 17. He said, behold, thou art called a Jew, and retest in the law, and make thy boast of God, and know his will, and approve the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. He said, art confident that thyself art a guide of the blind, and a lot of them which are in darkness. Because that's what he just told them about the scribes and the Pharisees. He said, well, blind guys, didn't he? You know what I'm talking about? So if you're a blind guy, you don't know where you're going. That's the same thing with these niggas out here. Let's see why they blind guys, because the Pharisees were doing the same thing. And he says, and a light unto them which are in darkness, and an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. Thou therefore which teach another, teach thou not thyself, that thou preach a man should not steal, does thou steal. You see what that is? See, that's what the Pharisees, you can go back to Matthew 23. That's what the scribes and Pharisees were doing. What? They were teaching men to do stuff that they weren't doing. So you have to look at this here. How can you tell somebody to do something you're not doing? Does that even make any sense? When I tell you to go in the gym, and do I be like, yeah, boy, you need to do this here? You don't see me put pictures up like this here when somebody give you unsolicited fitness advice. Nigga got the dough body, bad body, the day is long. How you gonna tell me about how to squat? How you gonna tell me how to deadlift? Nigga, you better pop up and show me some former bodybuilding championships or something. I'm not gonna take you seriously. I look at football coaches all the time. These men fat, nasty body, and you gonna tell me I need to train harder? Well, why don't you train harder?
I've been through it already.
Most majority of coaches didn't even play ball. Huh? Yes, he did. He's not bad by it either.
Crazy. That nigga look sick in the ear.
No, that's just how his head looks. It got nothing to do with his body. You know what I'm talking about? Look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid ain't never played no football. Any of y'all ever seen Andy Reid? Any of y'all know who that is?
How you know?
No, I know it. He ain't never played no ball. That man ain't played no professional football. That man looked like a penguin.
He was dressed Dolphins.
He looked like a penguin. How you gonna sit here and tell me I need to hit the weight room?
He doesn't tell you that. Strength and conditioning coach tell you that.
Look here, man. You need to hit Jenny Craig.
Strength and conditioning coach.
Look here, man. For 24. This guy.
That's why he handled him. That's why
this guy. This guy. I say
Mike. Can't say that.
The old Jaguar coach used to play football.
You talking about Jack Del Rio?
Him too. But Mike Malarkey played football. They played tight.
They got out of it too.
Yeah, no, man. They did that guy kind of wrong. He said, you blind guides would strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. And it's funny, too. This goes to something what you said to me, Nicole, about how Hebrew dudes will tell you, you can't get a tape up. You can't shave your beard. You know what I'm talking about? Glover, you just mentioned to me today, grown man tell you, and Nicole, you said the same thing. That was wild, because you had just told me that, too. Niggas say you can't have sex with your wife except if you're trying to get pregnant. People just pull all type of stuff out of here. You straining at a gnat. You know what I'm talking about? And swallow a camel. You making mountains out of molehills, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know that's pretty much what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? What's funny to you?
Nothing.
Something got to be funny.
Not funny.
Huh?
It's not funny. It's gross.
What's gross?
Nothing at all.
You.
Out they butt. What you laughing at, man?
What we go 30 to the 5?
Now, hold on. I'm talking to this nigga. What's so funny, man?
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees.
No. No woe to you. You gonna have to come up off of that right now.
Not on 25. Yes.
So what's so funny, young man?
Nothing.
Oh, something. So you gonna lie about it?
I'm not lying. I'd rather not discuss it this time.
Yeah, discuss it now.
I'd rather not.
What you over there pooping?
I don't grown men to poop these part.
What?
I think you over there pooping. We're not moving further until you spill the beans.
That's funny because that's stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
Oh, that's what you've been doing over there. Oh, the beans been making you fall.
I've been spilling some beans.
Nasty man. I'm glad I ain't got to smell it.
It doesn't stink.
Really? Flagellant that
Really?
doesn't smell.
I guess it doesn't.
That's like saying poop has a rosy, fresh fragrance,
I mean,
like a
sometimes
summer breeze.
when poop is water, it doesn't stink.
Really?
Out of water, poop stinks.
You mean to tell me poop and some water don't stink?
I think it's water in the bowl.
Unbelievable. This a grown man, y'all, with churn. This guy, verse 25. This guy, then we gonna tell you, woe unto you for your stinking behind. You know what I'm
The
talking about?
water doesn't stink.
I don't know, the poop smells so bad.
Hey, y'all forgive me for that. This nigga's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Wait, Matthew 23 and 25. He said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto withered sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead man's bones and of all uncleanness. Remember how we talking? How many of y'all done ever went to a what you call it? A cemetery? Any of y'all ever went to a cemetery before? Did y'all actually sit down and sit kneel on the grave? Like I've never done that type of stuff. That just was weird to me. You know what I'm talking about? Kneeled on the grave, laid flowers down, talk to it. Like the person still really in there, like they gonna pop up out the ground and say, I'm glad to see you.
So that's what withered sepulchre is, the mold?
A withered sepulchre is nothing, that's a grave. You know what I'm talking about? Basically how they used to do is they made caves and they would put dead bodies in them. What we have close to that now is a mausoleum. You know what I'm talking about? But you got to sit there and think about it. I ain't never liked going to cemeteries. There was just some eerie place to be walking through. We used to cut through the cemetery over there in the old neighborhood, over there by Burger King. At nighttime at that. You know what I'm talking about? And these niggas want to cut through the cemetery. Niggas want to play. Nigga, don't play in here. Because I promise to you, sudden move, wrong, nigga, I'm gone. I ain't looking back. This ain't the place to be. But that's all that's in them graves. You open up a casket right now, you ain't going to do nothing but get some stank and you going to find some bones. You know what I'm talking about? That's uncleanliness. Dead body unclean. So he comparing these false prophets and these false shepherds who feed themselves and not the flock. He comparing them to the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? He comparing them to the same thing. You niggas just nasty dead bodies. They pure beautiful. How many of them dudes with their Power Ranger suits on? Some of them might have their nice little wristbands on. You see some of these pastors, they got they fresh. Some of them be dressed fresh, don't they?
Mm-hmm. So clean.
You know what I'm talking about? Suit clean. I'm talking about tailor suit. I ain't talking about nigga go buying a suit off the rack. He don't fit right. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to wear suits, because my suit's got to be tailored. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, likewise.
You know what I'm saying? That's for real. Because if I can't get my suit tailored, it don't make no sense to wear it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't buy a suit off the rack.
You got the wrong.
You know what I'm saying? You just don't buy a suit off the rack. You just don't do. I'm sorry I'm getting off on that. But I'm just saying that there for the men that are listening. You know what I'm talking about? You just don't go buy a suit off the rack. You just don't do it. No, I'm for real. If I had a tailor, I'd rock a suit because the tailor gonna make sure that suit fit right. You know what I'm talking about? And them boys be looking good. They got their cufflinks going. You know what I'm talking about? Nice tie, pocket square. Everything lovely. Nigga, wicked as hell. I mean,
Steve Harvey.
you know what I'm talking about? Because,
Yeah, I need to be sharp.
hey, ain't nothing wrong with a clean suit now. I give a man credit got on a clean suit. I ain't a suit well, but when I see a nice suit, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Ain't nothing wrong with having a nice suit on. You know what I'm talking about? Nice shoes, hard bottoms. Them niggas evil though. Evil though. You know what I'm saying? How many people have you seen in y'all lifetime that you done dealt with? They appear to be good people. But because after a while, time gonna show it, them niggas was evil. You know what I'm talking about? Look what he say about them though. He say, even so you outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. That's what's wrong with these false shepherds. And we got to look back as long, because if the shepherd, if the leader of the congregation is full of hypocrisy and iniquity, what the congregation gonna be like? Because he just said that these are blind guys. And if you remember what he said if the blind lead the blind, what they gonna happen to them? They all gonna fall in the ditch. They all gonna go to hell. Because you got to remember, you're gonna follow the template of who's leading you. You know what I'm talking about? If the person that's leading you, this ties into being husbands, wives, all that. You know what I'm talking about? If the head is, what did they say? Kill the head, and what happens? The body dies. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about? So if the head is sick, the whole body gonna be sick. Huh? Well, I mean in the street they were like, kill the head and the body dead. Because they ain't nobody talking about severing no head. These niggas were talking about put an AK-47 bullet in a nigga forehead.
Yeah, that's pretty much severing head.
Yeah, that would too, but not a 9mm.
This is a big word.
Glock 40, but either way, that's what it comes from. Kill the head and the body dead. Yeah, AK-47 not gonna sever your head. It's gonna explode it like a balloon.
Yeah, that too. Possibly some shoulders.
Bah!
Possibly some shoulders.
But guess what though? If the false prophet is like that over the congregation, what's gonna happen? Wow! You know what I'm talking? You ever seen what that man name is? Used to Gallagher. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the guy who
Smash his watermelons.
perfectly good watermelons.
Perfect. But that's the key component of what it looked like. But I'm gonna ask everybody, let's be real with how many people you thought outwardly they were good people, but when you found out every time going inwardly they were hypocrites. You know what I'm talking about? She say almost everybody. There's been a point in time where everybody done been shown to be a hypocrite. Where you done said you stood for something and did the opposite. Ain't nobody innocent of that. You innocent of that? You innocent of that? I ain't innocent of it. Look here, it ain't even about dealing with no word. I was pro-black, but I was selling crack. That's hypocrisy. You know what I'm talking about? How can you sit here and say you pro-black, you on the corner selling dope? You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't work. You know what I'm talking about? That's just not going to work. Everybody done shown themselves to be a hypocrite at one time or another. But the point is, though, how you going to claim to be dealing with righteousness and doing? That's setting a poor example. You know what I'm talking about? And what happens with that poor example, you know what that happens people to do? That happens to cause people to doubt. That causes people to be fearful. That's why Paul say the name of God is blasphemed through the Gentiles through you. It's not going to cause nobody to serve God right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. See, people like to come up with these little fancy stuff. God love you. Y'all don't know the depths of his love. His son did this here. But you're not living according to his word. You're not privy to it. But go back to 1 Peter, the 5th chapter, so we can see the whole point where he came at. First Peter 5. Who that is? That's Jerron talking to Cole. So I hear me now. What we at? 1 Peter 5 and 2. 1 Peter 5 and 2. Listen what he say, y'all. He say, feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, nor for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fade not away. You see what he told him not to be? What did he tell him not to be? What? He told him don't be Lord. You know what it means to be a Lord? Huh? That means to be a ruler. You don't know what a Lord is? A ruler, I mean, he said don't be a ruler over the people who this man died for. He said be an example. Set forth the example. And we already know if you are elder, if the chief shepherd appeared, that means you a bishop. And what is, because remember, he's speaking to the bishops. He's speaking to the shepherds. And what does a shepherd have to be? Blameless. And what was Yahshua himself? Blameless. You know what I'm saying? So that means he was an example to the people. He walked upright. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, look at Proverbs real fast. Let's see which one it is. Yeah, I got it. Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 22. Proverbs 22. Look at verse 17. We did a little something in Proverbs because Drew been going hard on Proverbs for about 3 days straight. You all right?
You spitting on
Nothing.
You spit something.
No, there it is. You want some beans?
Spit no beans.
17. I didn't spit no beans.
You gotta eat. Where you going?
You
You better get that thing out there. You better eat. Swallow it.
this nigga here. 22 and 17. Listen what he say, y'all. He say, bow down thy ear and hear the words of the wise and imply thy heart under my knowledge. So right now the man telling you need to bow down and listen to what he got to tell you. He say, for it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee that they be withal be fitted in thy lips. It's pleasant to keep the word of God in your mouth. It's pleasant to hear it and keep it with you. The only way a man keep it with you, got to be clean. Listen what else he said. He said that thy trust may be in Yah. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Now let's put it this here. Would you be able to trust in God if the shepherd was not being an example? Would you be able to trust in God if the shepherd was fearful and didn't believe? Would you be able to have trust in God right now? Listen what he said. He said, have I not written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make me known the certainty of the words of truth, that thou might answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee? Now listen to what he's considering right here. He said he done written to this man excellent things and counsels and knowledge. What verse of pertaining to Son of the Lord say should come to your mind with that, right?
You said what?
He said, I have I not written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee known the certainty of the words of truth, that thou might answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. He said he made him know many good things. You know what it means to give counsel, right? Everybody done gave counsel in their lifetime to somebody. You know what counsel is? What that is? To give advice. You know what I'm saying? Ain't somebody ever came and said, asked you, you know what, I'm dealing with something. What you think I should do? That's giving counsel when you say, hey, I think you should do this. He said, but I done gave you counsel and knowledge that when somebody come unto you, you be able to give them the words of truth. That ain't what he said. Let's look at Matthew 22. Let's see if the Lord did that to somebody. Huh? Yeah, look at Matthew 22. Well, what you got to answer, Lamar? What do you think the Lord said that there when he said, I done been taught many good things and counsels and knowledge? Yeah, you can say that too. Absolutely. Indeed. Indeed. He told his disciples that. You slow in heart to believe all the things that the prophets have said. That's good enough. That works right now. He said, I've written unto you many good things and counsels and knowledge, that when somebody send unto you for the words of truth, you'll be able to answer them. You know what I'm talking about? Now we're going to show an example of the Lord, and we show an example of the apostles doing the same thing. And remember, because he said then their trust going to be in God. Because remember what he read when he told them that fools of heart, and he told them, they said, didn't our hearts burn within us? When he opened up the scriptures to them? Because I done already gave you counsel and knowledge. And you had the book. You had the whole book the whole time. Because what is the fear of Yah? The fear of Yah is the beginning of what? The beginning of knowledge. Yeah, I mean, it depends which one you read that. You wasn't wrong, because some sides say the fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, and then some sides say the fear of Yah. I mean, it's interchangeable. You ain't said nothing wrong. You know what I'm talking about? So knowing that there, that's the scriptures. But let's look at what the Lord say here in Matthew 22. Because hold on, they something unto him. Matthew 22 and about verse 34. Let's see this here, because the people son unto him. It say, but when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, saying, so ain't they trying to, now is he about to make them know the certainty of the words of truth since they asking him a question? And then these people come unto him. Now we know who taught the Lord in counsels and knowledge. His father taught him. Remember, he said, my father gives me a commandment, that which I speak, that's what I speak. That my trust might be in Yah. So anytime the master spoke, who was his trust in? His trust was in his father. He knew what he was standing on. You know what I'm talking about? And therefore, he was showing forth that same example unto the people. You know what I'm talking about? Why do you think many people believe? Matter of fact, hold that. Look at John 10. Look at what he told them. Look at John 10 about verse 35. Look at what the Lord told the people. We come back to Matthew 22. It's John 10 about verse 37. John 10 and 37. And he says, if I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe not me, believe the works, that you might know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him. Ain't that the same thing? Y'all coming to send unto me for some word? He said, well, if you don't believe what I say, believe what I do then. You know what I'm talking about? Because what did he say? He said, if you want to know if the doctrine is mine, if any man do his will, you're going to know if I'm speaking of myself or if I'm speaking of the Father. You know what I'm talking about? So anybody who says they are servant of the living God, if you don't believe me because of what I'm preaching, just believe me by how I'm living. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's going to bear witness in the end. How many times we take, hey man, if you want to win somebody over, what you need to do? Male or female, what's the first thing you need to do? Live it. Live it. That's the first way to win them over. If you're looking to win anybody to the word, whether it's friend, family member, spouse, a potential mate, whatever the case may be, your children, whoever, the first step to doing it, live it. You know what I'm talking about? I remember Miss Rose, lady we used to post up in the house when we were hustling, man. She'd say it all the time. She said, well, look here, nigga, don't tell me about it. Let me know how it work out for you, and then holler at me. You know what I'm talking about? Because what do most people do when they find out about things? They want to run and tell everybody. But you ain't went and applied it to yourself yet. Didn't he say, hearken to my knowledge and keep it with you? Right there in your lip, because you got it with you. That means you're gonna be following that. So when they see that pattern of what you follow, don't you think they're gonna follow it too? You know what I'm talking about? If they see that, they be like, you know what? I've seen a significant change. What I told, did I come talking to you about the word all day, every day? Rarely ever did I. But you seen we were doing it and we were serious about it. You know what that did? That motivated you to do it. You already say, hey, that's my brother. I've always wanted to do what he was doing anyway, and it looks like he's serious about it. Now, what you used to write when I was in the counter, I want you to go to church and no jerseys either. You just want me to go to church and you ain't even know. I ain't even finna write. Yeah, you wrote me a letter like that. Talking about when Mama first got baptized. Yeah. Yeah, well, I can tell it was from that time.
I know, but it's not.
Yeah, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking in my mind, bet you lied if I go in there. You know what I'm saying? But anybody see that there. Look here. It took a while. You seen her doing it. You like this here. What she used to tell you. She didn't even tell you where she was going or what she was doing there.
Once I heard it, I came.
No, but I'm saying, but the whole time you wonder.
It wasn't that she was doing because she really wasn't doing anything spectacular to make me like, oh, I wonder what you're doing. She was just leaving.
No, I'm saying, but I'm saying it's the point of you wasn't even getting to tell you like to say this nigga dipping ain't even telling me what you're dipping for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? I might have wanted to heard this a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't saying nothing about it.
You know what I'm saying? I like candy. You know what I'm saying?
Set up. I like gummy
I like
bears.
swim. I want pig feet.
No, I don't want no pig feet. I ain't want that one. Let's get why. He ain't let you watch that no more anyway. Them niggas smoking weed cussing anyway.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? But like this here, this nigga here, watch. This nigga take every chance he get y'all to throw a Friday reference somewhere in there.
Any movie reference.
Yeah.
Well, but hold on, we had a good one. What the one we threw in there earlier? We threw one in there earlier.
Like,
No, we was at the court. Yeah, we was in the car somewhere.
Oh no, he was talking about Mama's breast. So I had to throw that in there, the bad boys.
Yeah.
yeah.
He throws them in there when he gets a chance. Every time he gets. But listen, but you got to sit there. You got to look at that though. This is what you want people to believe. If people ain't gonna believe you, say I'm a child of God. I'm a servant of y'all. I'm an Israelite. Well, if you want them to believe you, don't have them believe you just by what you say. Like this here. Y'all sit down. Y'all listen to the word this man had me to give y'all every week. But I don't want you to listen to me just on base of what I'm saying. You might not believe me based on what I'm saying. Some of y'all ain't never seen me in the flesh, but you perceive I believe he actually doing that. You know what I'm talking about? Would you sit and listen to somebody teach you about how to fix car transmissions and nigga ain't never worked on one in his life? I don't know what that was. And I'm frightened. But nevertheless, go back to Matthew 22. And I'm frightened. Nigga, just stuff just beeping. You know? What verse we start at? Matthew 22 in verse 36. Now it says, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Now considering what we looked at in Proverbs 1, he's saying, hey man, he's been given many things for knowledge and counsel that you might trust in Yah, that you might make known the certainty of the words of truth. So let's look at what he said. Yahshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yah thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So basically what this man just told you is what? The whole book will tell you to love God and love your brother. You know what I'm talking about? Whole book testifying. That's the righteousness of God right there. If you see those things, you ain't going to have no fear in your heart if you love God with all your heart and all your soul. Can you truly love somebody and have fear in your heart dealing with them? Because if you got fear in your heart dealing with them, you know what you like then with that individual. Exactly. You can't have no trust and there's fear in your heart. You know what I'm talking about? It don't make sense on a natural level to be dealing with somebody that you're fearful that they're going to do something. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I know it. And it just hit my mind as I said that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because she posted that. One of our sisters posted that. They ain't on there right now. They probably in the house sleep. It's good and cold out there where they at. You know what I'm talking about? But she posted about that. That she used to deal with men to where she was worried about where they were going, what they were doing, who they were with, and she couldn't get anything productive done. If you notice many people who say that don't trust in God, can they get anything productive done as they come to his word? Matter of fact, look at Mark the 9th chapter. Hold this here. That just came to mind. Let me see what verse it is I want. Mark 9, I got to see what verse it is that I want. Mark 9 about verse 17. Look at what the Lord told him right here. He said, and one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I brought unto thee my son, which have a dumb spirit. And wheresoever he take him, he tear him, and he foam, and he gnash with his teeth, and pine away. And I spake to thy disciples that they could cast him out, and they could not. And he answered him and saith, O faithless generation, how long will I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me. And they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground, and wallowed foaming. And he asked his father, how long it ago since this came unto him? He said, of a child. This man had this demon in him for a long time, didn't he? That's rough. And we was having this discussion the other day. People who they claim to be mentally ill, they be doing stuff like this, don't they? Fashing around, foaming out the mouth, and they talking about he got schizophrenia. No, that nigga got a demon in him. So that's what it sounds like. He kind of described that to the T, didn't he? We can't go by what that stuff we see in these movies. He said, and oft times it have cast him in the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if thou can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Yahshua said unto him, if thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believe. And listen what he told him. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou my unbelief. This is a lot of people. He's sitting here saying, I believe. But at the same time, he's trying to say, help me with it because I'm doubting. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what a lot of individuals' problem is they doubt the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? But see, look at Romans 14 and 23. See, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. But see, you heard he cried out with tears because he's knowing, I know you can do this, but it's something inside of me saying, I don't know if you can. Because of the situation that I've been going through. Romans 14 and 23. Matter of fact, make it 22. Matter of fact, look at 17. He said, for the kingdom of God is, the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Ruach Kodesh, or the set apart spirit. So this man said the kingdom is not meat and drink. See, that's what a lot of people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing wrong with sitting around, you know what I'm talking about, eating, fellowshipping with one another. He said, but the kingdom ain't about that. He said the kingdom is about righteousness and peace and joy in the spirit of the living God. Because remember, what is the joy of y'all, little muffin? What is the joy of y'all? Nehemiah, what is the joy of y'all? It's also a fruit of the spirit. So the joy of y'all is what? That is your strength. And your strength is your faith. Because remember what the Lord told you? He say, in the world, he say, you should rejoice that I tell you that I leave again. He say, in me, you're going to have peace and joy. Don't if you dwelling in the Lord, no matter what you're dealing with or going through, shouldn't you have joy and peace? How many of these men can we go back and look at too? They were going through many things, but yet they had joy and peace in the Lord. Didn't Jeremiah have joy and peace even to all of what he was suffering? He was still suffering. He had joy and peace in the Lord, though. Even what David was suffering, he had joy and peace. See, look at 1 Samuel 22. It might be 2 Samuel 22. Let me see which one it is. I think it's 1 Samuel 22. It's 2 Samuel 22. See, then I'm going to show you right here. Look at about verse 17. 2 Samuel 22nd chapter, 17 verse. Let's see what type of joy David had even with suffering. 2 Samuel 22 and 17. 2 Samuel 22 and 17. He said, he sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. Ain't that's what we looking at about what that man talking about, that demon was too strong for his son. You know what I'm talking about? And the disciples couldn't cast him out, but the Lord came and did that same thing for him. Look what else he said. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay, or Yah was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yah rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanliness of my hands have he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yah, and I've not wickedly departed from my God. He say, for all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him. I have kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore, Yah have recompensed me according to my righteousness and according to the cleanliness in his eyesight. So you see what I'm talking about? Now you see, and if you got joy and you trust in God, then you're going to have the ability to know this man can deliver you from whatever situation in life. When we look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they was in that situation, what they were dealing with, they had faith the Lord could deliver them. And they had faith even if he didn't deliver them, that they were not going to transgress. Because he said, remember, he said, all things are possible that him that believed in. They believed the Lord was able to save them. Daniel believed the Lord was able to deliver him. Even when Jeremiah was in the prison, he knew Yah was capable of delivering him. Even when Yahshua was on the cross, he said, hey, my flesh rests in hope. He said that you will not suffer. You will not allow your Holy One to see corruption. So that means he know it was possible for him to raise him from the dead, didn't he? So you got to be able to know if you're going through something, don't you think it's possible for the Lord to make a way out of that? You know what I'm saying? What is you doubting out of it for? You got to look at your example. The key example. The Yahshua believed, I'm coming out this grave. This is undeniable. This is going to happen. You know what I'm talking about? This is not even a thought process in my mind that this is not going to occur. You know what I'm talking about? Even with Abraham, did he doubt? Didn't he believe? He said he believed in him that called the things which were not as if they were so. You know what I'm talking about? So there was no need to doubt. That's why he said it's possible to all things that he believed. You know what I'm talking about? But when you go to doubting, that means you fear God. That means you don't have a trust for God. It means you got fear in your heart. There's no way you can ever be made perfect. Because remember, we read this last week, didn't we? Perfect love cast out all fear because fear hath torment. We can look at the people and see where they were tormented. Matter of fact, go to Numbers 14. Look at where the people were tormented at. Make it Numbers 13. Numbers 13 and about verse 26. Numbers 13 and about verse 26. Numbers 13 and 26. He's saying they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told them and said, we come into a land whither thou sent us, and surely it flow with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. Moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. What it sound like type of heart Caleb got? He ain't no fear. He trusted in God. He knows it's possible that if you told us that we can overcome these people and subdue them and take this land, what he said? He said we need to go up at once. So he said not right now, but right now. We need to go get that then. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't worried about who was there. Listen to what the people say. But the men that went up with him said, we be not be able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. See, that's what's wrong with us when we deal with these people out here in the world. You think these sinners stronger than you. You go to envying what sinners got. You go to envying the things that they doing and the things that they able to do and you can't do them. There's no way you're going to have strength. Because you're going to sit there and say they stronger than us. You know what I'm talking about? When they don't even realize. Look at 1 John 4. Hold them Numbers 13. We still holding on Romans 14. Look at 1 John 4 though. This is what it tell you. About verse 4. 1 John 4 and 4. First John 4 and 4. He said, ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That's the type of mind Caleb had. The spirit that was in him was greater than the one that the people that was in the world, wasn't it? See them people that were talking of the flesh? Go back to Numbers 13. We can't overtake them. He say, no, you done overcame them. So you ain't got nothing in you. You can't pull nothing off. They sit here and say they stronger than us. How can a sinner be stronger than you? Does that make any sense? If God be for you, who can be against you? Ain't that what Paul wrote us? So how can a sinner be stronger than you? How can you even fix it and think in your mind that God can't destroy anything that put... This man say, I'm the living God. Is anything too hard for me? You have to sit there and be... If you're going to trust in God, the man has told you numerous times, is there anything too hard for me? This man made the earth and man from dust of the ground, and you don't have the ability to trust in this man, and he can't lie? It's impossible for him to lie. The man say, I'm not a man that should lie, nor am I the son of a man, that I should change my mind. That if I said it, I'm going to do it. So if you knowing who you're dealing with, that's why I thank the Lord. It's easy for me to roll with it. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know who you're dealing with. If you know you're dealing with a trustworthy and upright man, shouldn't it be easy for you to trust every word that come out his mouth? Shouldn't it be easy for you to follow the example which forth he said? Because the law, statutes, and commandments he got, don't you think he keep them? That's your number one example. Then he sent his son in the flesh to show you. Y'all can be in this flesh and keep him. Because what did he tell you? In earth as it is well. In heaven. So you know every law that's in the earth is in heaven too, ain't it? So you have to look at your example. A father ain't going to send forth. That's why he said, if you seen my father, if you seen me, you seen my father. Now you see why he told you that? If you seen me, you seen my father. Everything my father is, I am. So the same example I'm saying, I'm just doing what he said. My father work and I work here too then. Everything my father do, I do. You know what I'm talking about? Why do you think it wasn't nothing for the son to trust in him? I know who I'm dealing with. So therefore I can set forth the example because he set the example for me. What's the son, I wish, you wishing you had a boy, but what's the saying they say by the son? No, not just with that one there, but the apple don't fall from the tree. You know what I'm talking about? So therefore, remember, and who is the tree? Yahshua is the true vine, isn't it? And we the one, and he say, and in him, we the vines, and through him we can bear fruit. We the branches. So for well, if we dropping fruit, you think we gonna start fall from the tree? So we have to look at that. But a lot of us, we not bearing forth no fruit, so we falling far from the tree. So we don't bear the resemblance and likeness of this man. Remember when we dealt with, long time ago, Jacob and Esau, why Esau, he had to put on Esau? To bear the likeness of this man. We ain't mentioned it a lot. You remember Romans 13 and 14, don't you? Romans 13 and 14. Put ye on Yahshua the Messiah, and make no provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. You need to mimic the behavior. You need to put the book on. You need to put the Lord on. Put his clothing on. And you ain't going to make no provisions to do the stuff you ain't got no business doing. But if you don't put the Lord on, how you going to be able to, you're going to be always open to fulfilling the lust of the flesh, ain't you? It's always going to be there. Let's look at verse 32. In Numbers 13. Look at verse 32. He's saying, they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land which thou hast gone to search it, is it a land that eat up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants of the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, so we were in their sight. What did it sound like these men were to you? Fearful and doubting, didn't it? You know what I'm talking about? And look what verse 1, look what these niggas did. And the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. So you know what that caused everybody else to do? That caused them to doubt too, didn't it? It caused them to be fearful too, didn't it? See, that's not going to be able to work. He's saying, all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God that we had died in this wilderness? That's ugly right there. See, that's ugly right there. Look at verse 9. Look what he tell you. Matter of fact, make it verse 7. Matter of fact, look at verse 6. Still, we're in Numbers 14. Look at verse 6. Look at what he say. We got to set the table before we get back to Romans 14. He say, Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If Yah delight in us, that he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flow with milk and honey. Only rebel not ye against Yah, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. He said, their defense is departed from them, and Yah is with us, fear them not. But look what the people were ready to do. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones, and the glory of Yah appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. These men feared these men so much they was willing to kill the men who were speaking the word of God. Because they doubted. And guess what happened to these people who doubted and wanted to stone these people? You know what he told them? They didn't get in, did they? No. He swore in his wrath they wasn't getting in. And see, guess what? Niggas think that still don't go on to this day. You think you could be bucking the Lord and doing what you want to do, and he won't sit up on his throne and say, you know what? I swear in my wrath. I swear by my almighty name of Yah, by my name, by my own name. That man right there ain't getting in here. That's a serious deal right there. You can see people right now who've been called themselves dealing with the word and the direction they going and how they living. You can look at it and see that the Lord done said, that nigga ain't getting in. You don't want to get to the point where the Lord say, you know what? He ain't getting in. And he cut you off. Go back to Romans 14. Because remember, them people doubted, didn't they? And that means they got cut off. So if they got cut off, that means they were damned, didn't they? They were scolded. They ain't got no interest. You don't want to get cut off like that. Yeah, back to Romans 14. We were holding Romans 14. Romans 14 and 17. Listen to what he say. He say, for the kingdom of God is not meat and drink. See, the people saying we should go back to Egypt, because in about 3 chapters before that, they said we had cucumbers, leeks, and melons, didn't they? See, that's what they thought the kingdom of God was. We're going to sit around, eat and drink and play. That's what niggas think it is right now, don't they? Ain't nothing wrong with, like I say, sitting around eating and we have a good time with one another. But that ain't what it is now. He say it's righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. He say, for he that is in these things serve the Messiah is acceptable of God and approved of men. Because only if you serve them, if you approve of men, that means you set an example in it. Because if a man can stamp what you're doing, that means you walking uprightly. You doing right. You being a good example for somebody to say, you know what? I want to be like that. I want to do what he doing. You know what I'm talking about? You ever had somebody say they want to do what you're doing? And being sincere? I'm talking about dead serious, right? You know what I'm talking about? And that make you feel some type of way. When somebody tell you that, that means you know you got to keep your game on point, don't you?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter what you're trying to get what you got, so you better watch that.
No, but we ain't talking about know what I'm saying on like this here, but saying, hey man, the way you carry yourself, the way you do your thing, I want to be like, I want to do what you doing. You know what I'm talking about? You could tell when somebody running game versus some, because usually somebody that said they want to do what you're doing 9 times out of 10, they're younger than you. You know what I'm talking about? They looking at you and saying, hey man, you can have people your same age. I done had men my age older than me be like, you know what, man? I want to roll how you roll. I done had grown men say, I want to be able to speak the scriptures like you speak them. I'm like, it ain't about all that, man. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody can say some book out their mouth, but how you living? When they sit there, you know what I'm talking about? But when you see person see how you living, hey, that's acceptable. This man say, if you keep righteousness, peace, and the joy of God, that means you keep peace with men, you walk in peace, you got the righteousness of faith, which means you obeying the word, and you do it with joyful. That man say God can accept that, and men gonna stamp that. Nigga might not got to like you, but they gonna stamp that though. What can they say? What can they say? And they gonna be lying. You know what I'm talking about? But you have to look at it. Look what else he say. He said, let us therefore follow after these things which make for peace, and the things whereof where one may edify one another. See, that's the whole key thing which most people don't want to do. They don't want to follow after righteousness, peace, and joy, that they might be able to instruct somebody. Because like I told you, the greatest preaching a man can do is not what he say out of his mouth, but how he live. But how he live. It's a whole bunch of people out here saying they follow this book, man. How many people out here say they follow this book? You let a whole bunch of people follow this, say they follow this book, but how many really follow it? Shoot, atheists follow it too, because they spend all their time going through the book trying to prove it wrong. It don't even make no sense. If you thinking we stupid for following the book of fairy tales, why you spend all your time and energy trying to prove it wrong? Because you know it's true. You want to follow it too, but you don't want to, basically you don't want to come up under authority. You are an unstable soul, can't cease from sin, and you ought to be damned and go to hell. But listen what else he say. He say, for meat destroy not the work of God, all things indeed are pure. But it is evil for that man who eat with offense. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumble, or is offended, or is made weak. So he's sitting there telling you, see, it's evil for a man who eat with offense. It ain't good to be sitting down and eating, and you done offended your brother. You know what I'm talking about? You done did something. That's why he said you need to reconcile to your brother first. You know what I'm talking about? Because see, that can cause, you know, it ain't much when people do something to cause somebody to get out of the way. That's why he say if you teaching things and you not living it, you call somebody to blaspheme. You know what I'm talking about? Because niggas be looking for any single solitary reason. You know what I'm talking about? To say, you know what? I don't want to follow that. And we can't put no stumbling blocks in somebody's way. Because you put a stumbling block in somebody's way, you're going to have to answer for that. Ain't you know what I'm talking about? Ain't no need to do that. Listen what he said in verse 22. He said, has thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. Happy is he that condemn not himself in the thing which he allowed. And he that doubt is damned if he eat, because he eat not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. You know what I'm talking about? Now he said if you got faith, you need to keep it to yourself. It's for when you sitting down eating that you believe this man can provide all things. You ain't got to be like this. We already know that. What does the book tell us? He told us that he know that you need food and clothes, right? He told you need all that. So he said don't even worry the man about that. But he said if you doubt, he said you damn. If you don't even believe this man able to put the food in your face that you eating, he said you damn. Because this man said if you don't have no, that's just the phone itself, man. That's all it is. That's the Bluetooth. He said, for whatsoever is not faith is sin. And what do the just live by? Faith. Habakkuk 2:4, he said the just live by faith. He said he that lifted up is not upright in him. If you lift it up, what's another word the Bible uses for somebody being lifted up? You know what I'm saying? Puffed up. You know, a lot of people, they get knowledge and information. Huh? That too, but you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But when you get in that, see, but they ain't kicking though. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't kicking though to say they forgot God. Because most people, when they get, because he said knowledge puffeth up, but what does charity do? See, love edify, love instruct. You know what I'm talking about? Like I say, and you not only going, because like you said, if you following after righteousness and setting that example, ain't you going to do the same thing? Because that's what bishops or elders, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to feed the flock. They're supposed to be skilled in the word to put the silence gainsayers with sound doctrine that people might be saved. But if you're not putting forth that example, how you going to be able to show forth that? How you going to be able to do it? It's not going to be, you can't lead an example of something that you don't know. You know what I'm talking about? This is why so many people fearful out here. How you going to be able to be strong and rooted in the Lord and the man who teaching you's not? How can he set forth that example? For a man to even be able to be a bishop, what's the first thing he going to have ascertain in his heart? Not just being blameless, the first thing he going to have to ascertain in his heart, he going to have to believe. How you going to be able to ascend to an office and work an office and you don't even believe in the man who you say you work for? Many of these men out here, these false shepherds who feed themselves and not the flock, many of them don't even believe. I would probably say a good 75% of Christian pastors out here are atheists themselves, like literally. They just in it for the money. I say the other 25% really sincerely believe they doing right. You know what I'm talking about? That 75% number could be a little high, but you know what I'm saying? But, you know, a little lower. But, you know, most of them really think they doing right. They really don't know. You know what I'm talking about? They really don't know. Most of these Israelite dudes out here, them niggas atheists too. They might not think they ain't like, oh, I don't believe in this man, but I'm going to preach his word and get some money. You know what I'm saying? But them niggas atheists too. Because they don't believe nothing he say. Anytime you show these niggas something this man say, they get mad. What you just telling me, Drew, by you telling a man about something what the book say, who are you to judge me? That's the first thing he say out of his mouth. You don't believe what this man say. Didn't this man say, I done gave you many counsels and knowledge that if somebody sin unto you, you able to give them the certainty of the words of truth? Ain't that what he told you? Go back to Matthew 22. See, that's the same thing got the people in trouble in the wilderness too, didn't it? They doubted, didn't it? See, they thought when they was in their wilderness, this was all about meat and drink, didn't it? They didn't have no righteousness and joy and peace in the spirit. That's why they didn't get in the land. Huh? Yeah, because niggas like to party and play. That's what's wrong with niggas right now. All they want to do is party and play. You already know that there. What race of people like to sit around and eat food and party more than black people?
Everything.
Come on, man. Nigga, most Spanish people are niggas too.
Yeah, touche.
Come on, man. All down here in the South, man, all the nigga got to see is some sun, a blue sky, and let it be 70 degrees. Pull the barbecue out, nigga, get some liquor. Ain't even no special occasion going on other than it's warm. Nigga, I just bought some charcoals, nigga. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Niggas throw big feasts for funerals. We can't even read nowhere in the book nobody throwing a feast for a funeral. Niggas just put their grandma, their homeboy, their mama, their daddy in the dirt. Nigga back at somebody's house, got a spread for days. Niggas got music bumping. I'm talking about and liquor flowing. Nigga just died. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas like, ain't nobody mourning and lamenting. Nigga like this, you got some more Hennessy. You know what I'm talking about? You got some more liquor. Well, who made these greens? All that there. You know what I'm talking about? Don't let summertime come on. What group of people? Nigga, ain't no race of people throwing block parties. I ain't never heard no white folks throw no block parties. I ain't say that they don't. I ain't never heard of it.
they throw bankers.
You know what I'm saying?
They
But
throw
bankers,
fundraisers. They throw fundraisers. And they make money when they throw parties.
but see, a bank niggas make money too. They throw a block party.
Niggas spend money when they make a party.
Shoot, but messing around because you got some niggas like this here, nigga. You gotta pay $10 to the door, nigga.
Nigga, that's
people
a
have
that's a club.
potlucks.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that niggas need no excuse to throw a party.
At all.
Niggas will pull up in a car with a decent sound system,
Yeah,
and niggas going to pulling out liquor and marijuana, and it's going down
Right there.
right in on the spot.
They said, what's that, Oakland?
Yeah, Oakland. These niggas leave the club, got a sideshow. These niggas talking about we ghost riding the whip. All these niggas out here drunk, smoking reefer, partying for no reason. Our people didn't, man, Moses wasn't gone. These niggas say, man, that nigga ain't coming back, man. You need to make us a calf, man. That nigga made that calf, all them niggas feasted. So we had to look at that stuff, man. Yeah, we got to look at the kingdom of God is like this here, man. You know, we like to eat it and we'll kick the bobo on the feet, but at the same time, though, man, look here, man. This thing about following joy and peace and righteousness not at the same time. You know what I'm talking about? This ain't about that. The kingdom, this ain't about that. A lot of these dudes be like, man, we want to build this and we want to build. That's all fine and dandy. But guess what, though? If you ain't right, you ain't setting no example. Let's right now. What holiday they finna get ready to celebrate, y'all? And you know what's messed up? And you know what's messed up? These niggas getting 4 days out of school. I'm still perturbed about that. I'm not even going to
That's what it's done now.
I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm talking about, but down here though, these niggas getting 4 days out of school. These niggas ain't go to school today. I don't know. They never gave us 4 days. We got 3. These niggas got to get out of school today and Monday. They got 4 days for this nigga.
It's probably early release on Wednesday because it's like.
I want 4 days. Why I couldn't get 4 days when I was in the Duval County public school system? I would have liked 4 days out of school for this nigga.
I'll tell you what. You should already know why.
Cause you ugly, nigga. That's why. It's your fault. They smelt your breath and said we just offended. Give these nigga 4 days. Maybe he get his mouth right.
School,
You know what I'm saying? But you know, but at the same time,
yeah,
anybody ever seen the movie they made with Mary J. Blige playing his wife? Playing Coretta Scott King? I ain't saying if you look at it. Y'all familiar with the movie though? I think it came on Lifetime or something.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it came on Lifetime, so you already know it was gay. Anything on Lifetime is gay.
That's because it's television for women.
And that makes it gay.
Not really.
I'm not talking about, I ain't talking about gay as in that type of gay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about gay as this is lame. You know, some real lame movies on Lifetime, man. Horrible acting, despicable scripts, and just reprehensible direction. I'm talking about like who wrote the screenplay.
That's when you can't get a good job, but somebody got to do something.
I ain't saying everything. That's whatever that show was with that black lady playing a detective. That was some of the most horrible piece of acting I've seen in years.
Yeah, you can't get a good job, but hey, we'll give you something.
I would not watch like, but there was times in my youth where there was only one TV in the house and Mom Dukes just locked in on Lifetime, and that's one of them instances you want to pull your flesh out your face. You know what I'm talking about? You have nowhere to go. Can't go outside. It's after dark. You know what I'm talking about? Can't go in your room. You don't have a television in there, and all you want to do is this. Can't play the video game because the video game's attached to the TV she's watching Lifetime on. This blows all the way around. You know what I'm talking about? But I was just mentioning in that movie, they didn't want to make reference that Martin Luther King was a whoremonger and adulterer. You know what I'm talking about? They just wanted to focus on, he stood up for civil rights, he did this, he did that, but who cares? So you want to see what type of man Martin Luther King is? You want to see what type of man he was? Let's look at Jeremiah 23. We'll get back to, no, he wasn't like Solomon. Hold this Matthew 23, 22. We'll get back to it eventually. Look at Jeremiah 23. I just read this in the code the other day. I want y'all, and by verse 14. Make it 13. Matter of fact, I like this even better. Make it verse 9. He say, and my heart within me is broken because of the prophets. See, right now, he say, the Most High say, my heart broke because of these prophets. Why is your heart broke, Lord? All my bones shake. I'm like a drunken man. Anybody ever been so angry they shake? You never got that angry where you shaking like, woo. That's some anger right there. I see somebody shaking and they angry, I'm going to get away from that nigga because he might possibly kill someone. And I ain't even trying to be facetious or funny or nothing. Like, I'm dead serious right there. That's a dangerous situation right there because that's unbridled anger. There's no telling what that person might do. You know what I'm talking about? Listen what the Most High say. He say, I'm like a drunken man. I'm like a man whom wine have overcome because of Yah and because of the words of his holiness. For the land is full of adulterers. For because of swearing the land mourn, the pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up. Their course is evil, and their force is not right. So that's going right back to what we looked at in Matthew 20. I'm paying tithes, right? Okay, I'm standing up for the poor, but you're not showing righteous judgment because your balance off. You say you're showing mercy, but you don't really care about these people. You know what I'm talking about? You certainly not showing faith in God by disobeying his word. Because we already know, if you disobey his word, how you got faith? How is that possible? Because to have faith, that means you have evidence in the things that are not seen. He's saying everyone must believe that he is and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So if you're seeking him, that means you're obeying the word. Then. If you're not obeying the word, you ain't a reward. We'll show you that with Ezra in a minute. Well, hold on. Look what else he say. He say, for the land is full of adulterers. He say, for because of swearing, the land mourn. So guess what? Ain't the land mourning right now? Ain't the righteous mourning everywhere they go seeing the stuff they seeing? I be just appalled every day. There's certain stuff, man, I might click on a movie. Scribbling channel, the movie might stop. I hear these niggas go to talking crazy, this, that. I gotta change. I don't want to see this crap, man. We just seen what? A grown woman got a sex tape with a 16-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? You nasty bastard. Ain't seen the boy in 15 years. You talking about, I got a genetic contraction. You just felt like it was cool to give oral sex to your son and videotape it, you skank. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. That's just a lower level of skankiness right there. You nasty whore. You know what I'm talking about? Look at all the stuff you see out here every day in the street. I'm talking about just dealing with physical things of the flesh. This man say, and look at all the men who teach the word. Look at an example of these people who do. Look at 1 Samuel. Look at this here. These what these niggas be out here doing in the churches, setting a false example. How the people going to be saved with this type of example? How they going to be saved? Ain't no way in the world. Because the people who supposed to be teaching them ain't doing right. Y'all think these men just started sleeping with the women in the church? They ain't just started. I mean, when I first read this here, when I first started dealing with the word, I said, these some brazen niggas right here. That's some bold stuff to do. I'm like, well, these niggas always been doing this. 1 Samuel 2. 1 Samuel 2. Verse 12. 1 Samuel 2 and 12. Listen what he say, y'all. He said, now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. They knew not Yah. If they were sons of Belial, what were they? Hold on. Not just that. Any of y'all know what the word Belial means? No, it doesn't mean that. Worthless. Which we know the devil is worthless. I mean, Belial you can use for a name for Satan, but Belial means worthless. And if they knew not Yah, that means they didn't keep his commandments, did they? That means they were sinners. He's saying the priest's custom was the people was that when they offered sacrifice, the priest servants came when the flesh was seething. We'll drop on down because they despised Yah's sacrifice. Look at verse 17. They hated God's sacrifice. He said, wherefore the sin of the young man was very great before Yah, for the men abhorred the offering of Yah. And look what else they did. He said, for Samuel, hold on, drop to 22. That's what we came here for. Look at 22. He said, now Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So what were these men doing? These men were priests now. They were having sex in the church house, in the house of God. Because he said at the door. They had enough common courtesy not to go in. At the door. Ain't that what these false priests out here doing now? These false prophets out here doing now? They sleeping with the women right in front of the door. Look what else he said. And he said unto them, why do you do such evil things? For I bear of your evil dealings by all this people. He say, nay, my sons, it is no good report that I hear. You make Yah's people to transgress. Ain't that's what these people out here doing? Because by the example that they set, that's telling the people they can do it too. You know what I'm talking about? And don't nobody want to talk about that. When it comes to Israelite camps, man, don't nobody want to talk about, come on, man. How you going to tell me to do something and you causing the people to err? You causing the people to transgress. You causing the people not to fear God. Look what else he say. He say, if one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against Yah, who shall entreat for him? He said, notwithstanding, they hearken not unto the voice of their father, because Yah would slay them. Don't you think God ain't gonna have? Go back to Jeremiah 23. You think God gonna have a false prophet hearken to somebody?
Hey,
No.
what else does that 25?
What's that?
That
What is?
25? You said, "Go man sinning against another."
Yeah,
That's
23.
somewhere else.
Say that again.
You said that's somewhere else, ain't it?
I don't think so. Not off the top. I can't recall off the top of my head. If you find it, let me know.
I could have sworn you said it somewhere else.
It could be. You know what I'm saying? But y'all see how this here? He say if you sin against God, who can hearken to you? Who can hearken for you? That might be Job. Well, he told him to hearken. Told Job to pray for his homeboys, because he said, "I'll accept Job." He said, "But y'all, I won't accept y'all."
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? You have to look at that though. If you sin against God, who gonna stand in the gap for you? For these false prophets, they sinned against God. You heard what the Lord said. He said, "Woe unto them." What does woe mean? Destruction. To hell you go. And don't you think you going to hell? You listen to him. Because Ezekiel say the punishment of the false prophet going to be the same as to him who seek unto him. Don't make no sense to listen to a nigga who living sour and preaching sour. Just doesn't make any sense. It's just the dumbest thing you could ever do. But look at verse 10. Oh, we in verse 11. We already read verse 10. He say, "For both prophet and priest are profane. Yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith Yah." He say these men here are profane. Because the priest supposed to keep the law in his mouth, ain't he? He's supposed to turn people away from sin. These people turn the people to sin. He said, "Wherefore their way shall be unto them as a slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith Yah." What the Lord told you? What the Lord told you in John 11 or John 9? He said, if you walk in darkness, what happens? Can't see where you're going. Lord said, if you walk in darkness, you can't see where you're going. Ain't that what he just told you in Jeremiah 23? He said, their way is a slippery slope. Slippery ways in the dark. You ever tried to walk in the dark and you didn't know where sun was at? You liable to trip and fall at any time. So guess what? When they walking in the darkness of sin, they're going to trip and fall anytime. And anybody who's following that example, what's going to happen? You done heard them consistently see that these people caused the people to err. The people that told them that had to cause them to fear in the wilderness, didn't they cause the people to err? To the point they wanted to stand up and stone Joshua and Caleb? What you think going to happen to you when you sit there and tell these people by whether your lifestyle or you opening your mouth that they erring? What you think they going to feel about you? How you think they're going to feel about you? You think the people going to like you? You got to remember, light hate darkness, don't it? I mean, darkness hate light, don't it? They don't want their deeds corrected. Look what he say in verse 13. He said, "I've seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err. I've also seen in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hand of evildoers, that none do return from his wickedness. They're all unto me as Sodom, as in the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah." What happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh, don't even make that thought. Look at Jude, the first chapter. It ain't but one chapter. The epistle letter right before book of Revelation. He said the people he said the false prophets unto him like Sodom and Gomorrah now. Look at verse 3. Jude verse 3. Because it ain't but one chapter. Jude verse 3. He said, "Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints." Didn't Joshua and Caleb earnestly contend for the faith when they told the people, man, let's go up at once and get that? You know what I'm talking about? Even when they stepped to Yahshua, we finished Matthew 22, didn't he earnestly stand for the faith, telling them, man, what did the book say? Love God and love your neighbor. Whole book hang on that. You know what I'm talking about? What did the book say? Look what else he say. He said, "For there are certain men crept in unawares, who was before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness, and denying the only Yah and our Lord Yahshua the Messiah." Didn't the man turn the grace of God in the wilderness into lust? Saying it was better for us to die in the wilderness? It was better for us to stay in Egypt, where we had cucumbers, leeks, and melons? Ain't that the same thing he telling you? And they crept in unawares. People didn't realize it because they called the whole congregation to morning. You know what I'm talking about? And these false prophets is sliding in here with their wicked ways, and they causing people to err. And they creeping in unaware. A lot of y'all been dealing with them all the time. You didn't even realize they crept up on you. What you say, Nicole? Glover? Drew, what you say? People don't crept up on you and almost got you? Look here, man, if it wasn't for the grace of God, they could have got and one of us at any time. Look what else he say. He said, I will therefore put you in remembrance. Listen what he said. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believed not. Now you see what this is? Now we just started reading that earlier then. He said he's trying to tell you, you need to remember. I need to bring this stuff to your mind, how the Lord destroyed them that believed not. Following the example of those who caused the people to doubt. And look what he said. And the angels, which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So if them false prophets like Sodom and Gomorrah, what they finna suffer? They finna burn in hell. You know why? Because you causing people to err. You know how serious that matter is to cause people to err? Do y'all really understand how serious that is? That you leading people in the wrong direction. And you think that man sitting back idly by like I'm stamping that, I'm cool with that. When he told you that my elders need to be examples to the flock. Knowing we supposed to follow the example of the chief, because he said the chief shepherd gonna give him a crown, didn't he get a crown? Because he trusted in God and set forth that example. Because what he said, if I wouldn't have came and did the works that no other man did, they wouldn't have had sin. I set forth the example of what you need to do. Peter told you, follow the footsteps of the Messiah who did no sin. Who when he was reviled, he reviled not. When people talk trash about you and call you name, you ain't got to respond. Just because somebody make you angry don't mean you got to take off. He said when he was threatened, what he didn't do, little mother? He didn't threaten back. He put his trust in he that judges righteously. That's where you show your faith at. Who do you trust? Remember, vengeance is mine, saith y'all, I will repay. He said we have a sentence in ourselves that we should not trust in ourselves, but trust in him that raised from the dead. How many of y'all willing to trust God with every ounce? That's what that first commandment means. If you're willing to trust this man with your whole ounce of being, that means you're willing to take on anything then. See, Caleb and Joshua trusted him with their whole ounce. They ain't have no fear. We wouldn't take that. He said, well, you heard this that man said? He said, they bred for us. You know what I'm talking about? Man, I can remember saying stuff like that. Boy, we like this here. Boy, we done hit this neighborhood, hit this block. Not talking about the individuals around there like we finna rob nobody. But boy, this bread for us. Boy, money around here, money. We can eat this here. Ain't no fear. Don't matter that we ain't from around here. You know what I'm talking about? We finna get this here. It's bread to be ate out here. You have to sit there and look at that. These people bread for us. When it come time and these things go down, you got to believe God gonna stand up for you. Bread for us. We eat that. Like how Dante was messing with you. He talking about you was throwing out there eating it like cake. That bread, I chew him. Chew him good too. He's sweet to the taste. You have to have that same type of mind frame. Look what else he say. He say, likewise also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. See, that's what that's what they were doing in the wilderness. Wasn't that what they were doing with the Lord when he came? They were filthy dreamers. See, we're going to read about these filthy dreamers in a minute. Because a lot of Hebrew niggas like to say, go back to Jeremiah 23. See, a lot of these Hebrew niggas like to sit there and say, hey, this talking about Martin Luther King. Because they've been listening to Nathaniel Schaff. This ain't talking about no Martin Luther King. Man wasn't prophesying no Martin Luther King. Look at verse 15 of Jeremiah 23rd chapter. You all right over there, young man? We're going to be done for 11 o'clock tonight. You believe that? Oh, man, you shrug your shoulders on me, man. You don't got no faith that we could be finished for 11 o'clock. You know what time it is right now? 10:45. Yeah, it's not. It's 9:30. All right. He said, therefore thus saith Yah of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink the water of gall. For the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. He said, thus saith Yah of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart and not out the mouth of Yah. They say still unto them that despise me, Yah have said, you shall have peace. They say unto everyone that walk after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. Hold what you got. Look at Matthew 15. Let's see if they do that. Matter of fact, make it Mark 7, because I like how he worded it better. And then he took me to Mark for faster. Now you see what he said? He said, if you speaking a vision out your own heart, that means you speaking dreams out your own mind, ain't it? Because remember, he said he appeared to prophets in visions and dreams. He said they speaking out their own mind. As I tell you, like to tell you, me just pulling stuff out their butthole. Mark 7 and 5. Make it verse 1. He said, then came unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. And they saw some of the disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands. They found fault. So now they're trying to say these men defiled because they ain't washed their hands. But he said these filthy dreamers are defiled. Let's see how they defiled. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they came from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be which they receive to hold, as the washing of cups and pots and brazen vessels and of tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? He answered and said unto them, well has Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, so it is written, this people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching the doctrines, the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many such other such like things ye do. And Israelites like to do the same thing. Because guess what now? It's not a tradition to keep the Sabbath, is it? It's not a tradition to keep the feast days, is it? That's commandments given down to God. But then they like to put things on top of it to say, well, as long as you do that, you're good. Or matter of fact, a tradition is what we just mentioned earlier. Because Nicole told me that a Hebrew nigga told her that. You can't have sex with your wife except you trying to get pregnant. So you tell me I'm sinning if I lay with my wife. Where you get that from? You know what I'm talking about? Where do you get that from? You sinning if you get a tape up. Where you getting that from? You sinning, you shave your beard. You know what I'm talking about? You got some people bold enough to tell you sinning if you eat meat. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, it's all type of stuff that people say. And you know what I'm talking about? But you saying all this here, but you disobeying all this stuff over here, though. You know what I'm talking about? You not following the man in righteousness and peace. So what that make to y'all? That man said the hope of the hypocrite is fleeting. It perished. You know, it was a long time ago. You remember we were dealing with hypocrite? That was a long time ago. That was at the townhouse. Long time ago. That man has no patience nor love for no hypocrite. As individuals, any of y'all like hypocrites? Any of y'all like people who say one thing and do another? You know what I'm talking about? What make you think God like? Because by definition, y'all, what is a hypocrite? Who? And he says liars are not going to do what? They're not getting in. So you have to look at that though. Because that's what these false prophets is. He said, you telling these sinners they going to have peace. Because that's what he's going to look what he tell them. Verse 9. He said unto them, full well you reject the commandment of God that you might keep your own tradition. For Moses said, honor thy father and thy mother, who cursed father or mother, let him die the death. Didn't he say y'all could come unto me to give words of truth, right? That I make you know the certainty of them that you might trust God. He said, but ye say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is korban, or it is to say a gift, by whatsoever thou might be profited by me, he shall be free. And you suffer him no more to do aught for his father or his mother. So he said, as long as you say it's a gift, you can disrespect your parents. You can disobey your parents. You know what I'm talking about? To keep this tradition you talking about. See, there's a lot of people, you done heard that. What's the tradition of these people? The man say, don't divorce your wife and marry another. Well, Moses said, but what did the master of the house say? Well, David had multiple wives, so I can have them. You know what I'm talking about? But what did the master of the house say? You know what I'm talking about? So you rejecting what the master of the house say because you say, oh, that was a tradition amongst us. When the man told you, I suffered you to do that for a period of time, leave it alone. But they don't want to do that because they're hypocrites. Look what else he say. He say, making the word of God of none effect through your tradition which you have delivered, and many such like things do ye. And when he called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken ye unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. Ain't that going back to what you heard this man say, they filthy dreamers that defile the flesh? Because he tell you the things that defile the flesh. The Lord already told you they were hypocrites and had iniquity in them. And he say, look, this were the things they had in them. Evil thoughts and adulteries, fornications and murders, thefts and covetousness. We already read when he went off on the Pharisees and he derided them because they were covetous. And they hated him even the more and wanted to kill him. You know what I'm talking about? Because you telling the people the things out your own heart that you want to hear, setting forth a sour and wicked example. And guess what the people going to do? They going to err. Go back to Jeremiah 23. You all right over there, little monkey? The baby just moved on you? It say ain't got much longer. You get on up out of there. Now, if you despise God, what that mean for you to despise God? What would you have to do to hate God? Exactly, because the Lord told you men love darkness rather than light, because they hate the light because their deeds are evil. That's why people like to don't. If you think everybody in the world preached what this man said and you had to obey his word, you think these people have all these false churches they can run to? You know what I'm talking about? All these false Israelite camps they can run to. Man just told me these niggas in supposed to be in the house of the Lord getting drunk rapping. Where they do that at? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what's up with that? Where we at? Verse 8:17. Look at verse 18. That's what we want. Listen to what he telling. He say, for who have stood in the council of Yah and perceived and heard his word? Who have marked his word and heard it? See, if you would have stood in his council, you would have marked his word. You know what I mean to mark something? Everybody done mark their Bible up. If you mark something, that means you lay it to heart then. Look what else he telling. He said, behold, a whirlwind of Yah is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. You know what that whirlwind is? That's the coming of the Lord. Because then he say he coming with clouds. And everybody going to see him. And who he coming to fall on? He coming to fall on false prophets and whoever follow behind him. Look what he say in verse 21 though. He said, I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. You know what I'm talking about? How you going to go out here and do something ain't nobody sent you to do no work? Who sent you, nigga? You know what I'm talking about? Ain't that what Piggy told that nigga, man? Who sent you, nigga? Who sent you?
So what?
Huh? Say, who sent you, nigga? Who sent you?
Said Pete.
Pinky, nigga. Pinky. Who sent you, nigga? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You have to look at that. Who's sending these people to preach the word? These people telling you to go contrary to the word and living contrary to the word. Who sent them? Who sent them? That's what he told them. He said, but if they had stood in my counsel and caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. That's the whole key thing. Did not turn nobody from their way. Look at verse 25. He said, I've heard what the prophet said, that prophecy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed and I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophecy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. And this nigga thinking that's talking about Martin Luther King because he had a I had a dream speech. He wasn't telling people to sin. When he spoke that speech ain't had nothing to do about telling nobody to go sin. So what? He said he wanted black boys and girls and little white boys and girls to hold hands and men not be judged by the color of their skin. Is that telling anybody to go sin? No, that ain't telling nobody to go sin. Nigga just heard I had a dream and tried to take that and tie that to something. They ain't even talking about that. You know what I'm talking about? Man say you turn around here having these dreams. Because what did he say in the law in Deuteronomy 13? If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams come and tell you to do something and what? Tell you not to follow God, didn't it? What these people be out here talking about? I got a vision from the Lord. And he told me you need to sow a seed. You know what I'm talking about? Same time these people telling you the law is gone. All you need to do is sow a seed and God gonna bless you. He done gave me a vision. These Hebrew niggas talking about they done got a vision back in 2000 that the world was going to end and the Lord was going to come back in 2000. And they got showed to be false prophets. What about that white dude that said the rapture was going to happen a couple years ago? He just died. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's happening. He said you causing the people to depart from me. Ain't that what he said? And to forget his name. Now remember, what is the name of Yah? Merciful. Ain't that right? Gracious. You know what I'm talking about? Compassionate. Forgive his sins and iniquities, but by no means clears the guilt. And what have the people out here in the earth forgot? This man don't clear no sin. I mean, this man don't forget no sin. He forgive it. He don't forget it, though. These people forget he's merciful and compassionate. But they also forget he's a mighty God and a terrible, because he say the name of Yah is jealous. You see what I'm talking about when he say forget the name of Yah? Remember when we dealt when he say I manifested thy name unto thy brethren? You remember that? You remember that what? You don't remember when we dealt when the Lord say I manifested my name, thy name unto thy brethren? And then we went through to show you how he did that. Well, see, let's look at some of these things. Look at Exodus 34, y'all, one more time so you can see the name of Yah. That's bad, boy. Little Muffin, you remember, don't you? We did it right in here. I think we did it in the table in there. Huh?
Exodus what?
You don't remember? Exodus 34:6. You don't remember a lot of stuff. That's what you say. Yeah, true. Make it verse 5, y'all. 34:5. And he says, and Yah descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yah. And Yah passed by before him and proclaimed Yah. Yah Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the third and fourth generation. And I can't remember us in the law. I think it's in Deuteronomy. He said, well, the name... Yeah, last week, but I'm talking about we actually went into it. You remember that we went in that John 17?
No, I'm not talking about like today, like this is in something else that we do today. I must be just tripping.
Yeah, you tripping. We read none of that. You know what I'm saying? We read that last week in Jeremiah 32 when he said something similar to that. When Jeremiah proclaimed that. But you see this here, he said he's abundant in goodness and truth. That goodness is the spirit, ain't it? He said, because give unto me your good spirit. That's what David said. So now that's time back in the spirit and truth. He's sitting here telling us he got the ability to make us true Jews out of this here, right? Through his son. Because being merciful and gracious and long-suffering is that talking about to be able to, because he said you take that long-suffering as that bring repentance to God. That mercy and grace is that sending his son to die and send the spirit down to redeem us. You know what I'm talking about? So he's sitting there telling, I'm setting a framework to make you a true Jew. But that's to proclaim in the name of Yah. When these men sit out here and they proclaim these false dreams, telling you can do what you want to do, you can live how you want to live, they making you forget that. You know what I'm talking about? Because what else did he say? They keeping mercy for thousands. I forgive iniquity. You know what I'm talking about? How is she going to get the mercy unless you keep his commandment? He said keep covenant with them that love him. Then they also say the name of Yah is jealous. See, look at 1 Corinthians 10. What'd you say, bro? I don't doubt it. First Corinthians 10 and about verse 17. Make it 16. He said, the cup of blessing which we bless is not the communion of the blood of the Messiah. The bread which we break is not the communion of the bread of the Messiah. For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel after the flesh. Are they not that they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What I say then, that the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. I would not that you have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? You know what I'm talking about? And that's what we have to look at, because he said his name is jealous. You ever seen anybody get jealous what they do? Look at Proverbs, the 6th chapter. Because if he get jealous, that means you commit adultery on him. Any man here got a wife, you think you'll be happy if your wife cheated on you? I think you'll be, if a man say he don't get jealous over his wife, I guarantee you that's a man don't love that woman. 6. Yeah, and verse 32. You find that funny?
Yeah, she said it. He said exactly what she said. Oh, what?
Proverbs 6 and 32.
6.
Listen what he say. But whoso commit adultery with a woman lack understanding. And if you lack understanding, what are you worthy of? You worthy of death. This man say you lack understanding. He that doeth destroy his own soul. Well, guess what? Look at Revelation 2. We read it again. Look at Revelation 2. We ain't got to look at it. Remember what he said about Jezebel? What was Jezebel causing his servants to do? Anybody remember what that saying in Revelation 2? What was Jezebel causing his servants to do? You ain't got to go get to it. He was causing exactly what he was causing his servants to commit fornication and to mess with idols. That means to commit adultery. So we had to look at it in the sense he talking about right here in the natural sense about a man committing adultery by laying with another man's wife. But what you think gonna happen to these false prophets that got you out here laying down with idols? Because remember, to be stubborn is idolatry, and iniquity. That's what the book say. Look what else he tell you. He say, a wound of dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. You think you're going to get that wipe off of you? You serving another God. Hold what you got. Go to Revelation 21:8. You ain't got much longer. You ready to get in the bed.
What?
We went in a different direction what I wanted to. I guess he wanted to take off on some false prophet because I seen that a lot this week. Revelation 21:8. Listen to what he say. But the fearful and unbelieving. You see the two first things he named. If you got fear and you don't believe, you scarred. Because what happened to those that were fearful and unbelieving in the wilderness? They didn't get in. He say, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters. You know what else can make you a sorcerer? You know what can make you a sorcerer? What's that? That too, but that's not what we're looking for. Hold on. Any of y'all on here know what can make you a sorcerer?
Yeah, pride.
That's not what we're looking for either.
It's one of them crap.
Huh? No. Any of y'all, Nicole, Glover, Drew, any of y'all know what can make you a sorcerer? Yeah, he said that too, but that's not what we're looking for. What about you, Nicole?
I know what it is.
She got them churning enough, so she probably don't. You know what it is? 1 Samuel 15:23. You ain't got to read it. He said rebelliousness is as witchcraft.
I know one of them craps.
So guess what, y'all? You could be sitting around here. You ain't got to mess with no horoscopes. You ain't got to be around here casting no spells. But when you rebel, what he told him in the wilderness, only rebel ye not against y'all. He was sitting there telling, don't you be no witch now. Because what did the law say? Suffer not a witch to live. And did any of them live? You know what I'm talking about? So don't think that he's sitting there sorcerer and he niggas be like, you a sorcerer if you dealing with pharmaceuticals. Because the word pharmaceutical in Greek comes from the word dealing with sorcery. You know what I'm talking about? I forget the exact word.
Yeah, I don't think that's the word.
No, it literally does. If you actually go look for the
You say, so it would do it.
No. Yeah, if you do the root word of the word pharmacy in the Greek and the root of the word, the etymology of the word, you get witchcraft from it. Real talk. That's what dudes are used to tell people not to smoke weed or take pills and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, nigga, ain't nobody in heaven smoking no reefer. You know what I'm talking about? Because to kill that in earth as it is in heaven. You can tell me the Lord smoking weed, him and his father in heaven smoking weed, nigga. Roll up. I smoke one with you. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what? I don't believe you can do so. So don't light up that joint, nigga. Put the doobie down. You know what I'm talking about? Get the cocaine out your nose. Don't pop that molly and be round here sweating. They called it X when I was young. They gave it a new name now. Same pill. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas used to put weed, coke, X in the same joint and smoke it. You know what I'm talking about? But you have to see down here they just call it Escalades. That's what they call it around here. I don't know if niggas still do it. That nigga say they call it Jeffrey up his way. You know, yeah, you know it's funny. Nicole always say she be souped up, meaning she excited or amped up. You know, when we say somebody souped up around here, that means nigga full of himself. You know what I'm talking about? At least that's what it is. That's what it mean to y'all when y'all say. No, I'm just saying, man, in my day, if a nigga say, oh man, that nigga souped up, nigga feeling himself, nigga got a little pride about himself. You know what I'm saying? Nigga really just blowing a lot of hot air. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, hey man, you know, different parts of the country, people use different words. Because I showed her a picture that I was greased in, and she was like, what does greased mean? You know what greased mean? Nah, man, if you greased, that mean,
you gone. You zooted, man.
Yeah, you on that thing. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You on that thing. You feeling good. Hold on. Yeah, I figured you were. We appreciate you though. I know Brittany do. We appreciate you. She needed that, especially in her condition. But look at what he say now. That's what make you a sorcerer though. How many people you got a lot of people around here right now, they sorcerers and witches, don't even know it, don't even know it. That's ugly right there. But you see how the Lord gets you either way. I'm gonna get you one way or another, nigga. You will not escape. Look what else he say. He say, not whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burn with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. That's ugly right there. That's ugly right there. And if you are stubborn, you're an idolater in the same fashion. You know what I'm talking about? That's rough right there. Because that man going to close you in and lock you in either way. Where was that? Go back to Proverbs 6. He said, ain't that sound like a wound of dishonor? You ain't going to be able to wipe that away. Because you know what also that's getting? Since you go commit adultery and you knew what you was doing, that's going back to he that commits sin willfully, there remains no more sacrifice for sins in it. You can't get that sin up off you. He say, verse 33, now we're in verse 34. So he say, for jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. You think the Lord going to spare in the day of vengeance? That man say, bring forth all those who will not have me rule over them, that I may slay them. He say, he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou give many gifts. You think the men, all these rich men in the earth, what we just read a couple weeks ago, man, let the earth fall on us, let the mountain fall on us, man. This man gonna kill us. You know what I'm talking about? What you think you can get at this man when he get back here that's gonna stop you from slaying? Stop him from slaying you. You think it's anything you can offer? Ain't nothing you're going to be able to offer. Because you wanted to commit adultery. Because you wanted to lay with another God. And these men told you to do it. Because they didn't set forth the example of how man should look. Go back to Matthew 22. We write it down for you. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm a little sluggish myself there, buddy. 22. Let's finish this Matthew 22. Listen what verse 41. Listen what he tell him right here. He said, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahshua asked them, saying, what think you of the Messiah? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David. He said unto them, how doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, Yah said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand, till I make thy enemies thy footstool. If David then called him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word. Neither durst any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. Then they show forth that he has certainty with the words of truth, that he might answer those that get son unto him. Shut him right down, didn't they? But didn't I tell you the apostles did the same thing? Let's see if the apostles did. We read this the other day, though. But Acts 4. But just look how the correlation, how it relates. Let's see if his apostles did the same thing. Acts 4, verse 12. Matter of fact, we're going to back him up. Acts 4 and about verse 6, or verse 5. Acts 4 and 5. And it said, and it came to pass on the morrow that their rulers and elders and scribes, and Ananias, the high priest, and Capheus, and John, and Alexander, and as many were of the kindred of the high priest, were gathered together at Jerusalem. And when they had set them in the midst, they asked, by what power or by what name have you done this? Now remember now, hold what you got and let's look at Luke 24 just to get the confirmation of what we've seen in Proverbs 22. I'm going to look at Proverbs 22 to bring that back. Remember, you remember what it say, Lamont? If you don't, it's all right. It ain't no big deal. Remember what he told him. Yeah. Remember what he said. He told him to do what? Bow down thy ear and hear the words of the wise, right? And that they might be, and apply your heart to knowledge. It's a pleasant thing. But he said that your trust might be in God. Remember what we read? That if you purify your soul by believing that your trust and hope might be in God. Oh, boy. That blows. And it won't pop. There it is. And he said, I've written unto thee excellent things and counsels of knowledge, that you might know the certainty of the words of truth, that you might be able to answer those that are son unto you. You know what I'm saying? Because we seen the Lord was taught counsel and knowledge. He was able to answer those that came unto him, right? Let's see something here in Luke 24. Make it 24. 24 and 25. He said, then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not the Messiah to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. Sound like they got counsel of knowledge, didn't it? What you say? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's drop down about verse 30. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with him, he took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and he knew them, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way? while he opened to us the scriptures. So now we can see confirm what they got. Now let's go back to Acts 4. Because we had to set the stage, that's all. Because they asked by what power and by what name have you done this? So for them to be able to do it, they got to have a certainty of the words of truth to shut these people's mouth. He said, then Peter, filled with the Holy Ghost, said unto them, ye rulers of the people and elders of Israel, if we this day be examined of the good deed done to the impotent man, by what means is he made whole? Be it known unto you, to you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Yahshua the Messiah of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom God raised from the dead, even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which has become the head of the corner. Any of y'all know what did he just quote a scripture right now? You familiar with that? The Lord told you the same thing, and I think about Matthew 20. That's Psalms 118. He said that you heads of the people, you done rejected the chief stone. You done rejected it. He said, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahshua. Ain't that nothing? Because they were certain on what they were saying, wasn't it? And their trust was in God. And they stood up there plainly in front of these people and made known unto them the words of truth for the people who son unto them, asking by what you speaking on. And they shut their mouths in them. So you have to be able to know the same thing, having counsels and knowledge of the word, that your trust might be in God, that you incline your ear and bow down to it and lay it up in your heart, that if somebody sent unto you for you to ask you, well, why it is you fear God, you'll be able to stand. See, look at 1 Peter 3 and 15. We good over there. He go to quote most scriptures. We ain't going to read them all. We just had to show that point. Look at 1 Peter 3 and about 15. Wrap this thing on up. Huh? 3 hours later, I'm telling you. We going to be going till 12:59, nigga. Because it's 9:59. Just because you said that.
I'll be out here at 10.
No, you won't be out here at 10. You're going to stay here for the whole 4 hours and 50 minutes. Verse 15.
This guy might be.
1 Peter 3 and 15. He said, but sanctify Yah in your hearts and be ready always to give answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. See, that's what you got to be able to do. Because he said, don't fear you to fear men. He said, let Yah be your fear and let Yah be your dread. Who was Yahshua's fear and dread when he was about to get killed and go through all this here? He continued to fear God and respect and reverence his Father. He let that be his dread, knowing the hope that was set before him. See, that's why a lot of the people stumble and bumble and fall, because you ain't fearing God and letting him be your fear. You're not letting him be your dread. And because the people who's supposed to be teaching you don't fear this man, then guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to fear him too, is it? If they don't trust and hope in him, you ain't going to hope in him too, are you? You know what I'm talking about? Remember when we dealt with the prophets in that lamentation of Jeremiah about prophecy and vain things for you? You see how serious that is? Can't get your captivity turned. Can't get your sins banished. I mean, that gets you banished because your captivity can't be removed. See, we don't want to be banished. Because you know what's going to happen to a false prophet? Look at Ezekiel 13 and 9. Look what's going to happen to him. The Lord already told you destruction was going to come to him. Let's see why he told him destruction was going to come to him. Ezekiel 13 and 9. Ooh, there was the good crack. That was a good chance we could have hyperextended the elbow right there. And that would have been ugly. Look at verse 5, y'all, or verse 4. Ezekiel 13 and 4. Because this is what he been that doing. I'm telling you, going to get somebody gangrene. He said, O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert. Y'all ever seen a fox? What a fox known for being? Slick, sneaky. Exactly. He said, you have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of Yah. They have seen vanity and lying divination, saying, Yah saith, and Yah have not sent them. And if they made others to hope that they will confirm the word. And that's what all these false prophets out here doing, making people hope to confirm a word, telling grown men that ain't no Gentile gonna get in the man's kingdom. Somebody actually told one of our people just right this here. What I was telling you earlier, she ain't got no hope to get in the kingdom because she got white people in her line. She got to marry an Israelite by blood to get in. Niggas is telling people you can't get in the kingdom if you not married. They telling a man he can get in if he ain't got no wife, but a woman can't get in if she ain't got no husband. Is that false judgment and hypocrisy? And that's a nigga speaking a vision out of his own heart. Because I know full, not at all. And I know full well y'all ain't told you that. I knew full well. I know Yahshua ain't told you that. Oh, you can get in if you ain't got no wife, but you can't get in and you ain't got. When Paul said there's a difference between a married woman and a virgin, then did he tell you that? So that it sound like that virgin can get in too, can it? That unmarried woman can get it. Niggas just retarded. Niggas just. But that's a man speaking a vision. Now he's not standing. You know what that'll do? Wouldn't that turn somebody from the word? Or that'll make somebody go marry a plum dumb idiot? I gotta get in. He say he in the word. I'm gonna go marry this stupid. Then you find out, oh no, now you're stuck with this nigga. Then you, like I said, you get a divorce. You can't marry nobody else while the nigga living. You were like this here. Now I'm just done. I should have just stayed single the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? Look what else he say now. He said, therefore, thus saith Yah, because you have spoken vanity. What does vanity mean? Worthlessness. Worthlessness. Remember, he said, you serve me in vain. He said, you done spoke things that don't profit. And seen lies. Don't you think telling a woman she can't get in the kingdom, she ain't got a husband, don't you think that's a lie? We just read ain't no liars getting in. You're not getting in here. You know what I'm talking about? Don't you think telling somebody they can't have sex with their wife unless they trying to have a baby, that's a lie. You know what I'm talking about? That's a lie. You telling people can't nobody get in? You gonna tell somebody they got to marry a true blood Israelite to be saved? So you mean to tell me if I don't believe this man's word and me obeying his word with the faith in his son, that's not enough? I got to marry somebody? Does that even make any sense? When Peter told you plainly, anybody that work righteousness and fear him is accepted of him, he didn't say you had to have a husband or wife, though. So you mean to tell me if I'm not a full-blood Israelite male, I got to go marry an Israelite woman? Where you get that from? I know where they got it from. You know where they got it from, right? Wait for it. Wait for it. Right out their bums. Right out their sphincter. You know what I'm talking about? You know, niggas is just dumb. Look what he said. Look what else he say now. He say, and my hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity and divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people. If they're not going to be in the assembly of his people, Dwight, what is he talking about? No, they're not going to be in the body. They're not going to be in the body. That means you ain't going to be a hand, you ain't going to be a foot, you ain't going to be a kneecap, you ain't even going to be an eyelash, nigga. No, we're not going to just be talking about the Lord's bump. We have to draw the line. We can crack jokes about bumps, but when it comes to his bump, no cracking jokes about his bump. No talking about the Lord's bump. You ain't not even going to be a back muscle, not even a rhomboid. You know what a rhomboid is? That's a little muscle right here. Not even a posterior deltoid. None of that. They can't even be an upper pec muscle. You can't do none of that. Hold on. Listen what else he said. Neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel. If they're not writing in the written of the house of Israel, what do you say that's not written in there? You better know it. Their name ain't written in heaven. He said, ye shall know that I am Yah. So guess what he telling them? Y'all gonna know that you're gonna burn in hell when you don't get in my... Because if you're not in the body, what does that mean you don't have? You don't have the spirit. You don't have life. You don't have the spirit. You don't have the word, which means you're not a Jew because you're not circumcised in the heart, which means you ain't put off the body of sins. Then on top of that, you are a liar. You know what I'm talking about? Now, how like I said, y'all come up out the Christian church, but there's two people on here that done heard Israelites speak, and these people make people trust in lies, man. They tell people utter and bold-faced lie. You'll have a grown man, right now, Dwight, you'll have a grown man see you in the street, tell you sinning because you ain't got no full beard. Tell me I'm sinning. Where your fringes at, bro? Where your capris at? Look at it. Where is your fringes at? What's going on? Like how you asked me, like for the women, like a woman don't gotta wear no head wrap 24/7, 365. Cause you know that little mother. You know, like I was just telling her, we just know Nell don't never take hers off. Cause she say the only person she want to see her hair is her husband. I can understand that. You got dudes that tell women they got to wear their head wrap 24/7, 365. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's one, you want to show a difference, but it also how you mentioned that to Nell that time when she texted you. You know, Nell want to be able to be ready to pray at all times. You know what I'm talking about? If I ain't got my head wrapped with me, I'm not prepared to pray. Who knows? If the Lord see fit to make a woman a prophet and he want to give her a word, you can't even prophesy. Your head ain't covered. You know what I'm talking about? But that is what it is. Her head has to be covered. That's what the book says. When the book said, Paul told you in 1 Corinthians 11 chapter, when a woman pray or prophesy, her head need to be covered. Because if it's not, she dishonor her head. She dishonor the Lord when she do this. That's why a man's head's not supposed to be covered when he pray or prophesy. You got niggas out here in the street, walk around here now. Ain't nothing wrong. The high priest had a mitre on their head, but you'll never read nothing about no high priest praying with his head covered. You'll never read No, man don't cover his head when he pray. He said if a man have his head covered when he pray or prophesy, he dishonor his head. It's been time I've been standing outside talking to y'all and it be cold and I take my scut off. Definitely take the do-rag off. Definitely do that. But okay, we're gonna end this here I want y'all to end this here about this example. And we'll see this here. How I want to do it. Let's go to Psalms 18. And see the example of the Lord. Just remember the example you're supposed to follow. And we'll close it out on that note. It's all good. You get into bed for 10:20. And then you can go farther than that.
I fought with fought in your head.
You fought on my head. That'd be the last thing you do in this life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be inviting me to your bum. Invite somebody else to your bum.
Right now, you know, you smell my fumes.
Mm-hmm. You go smell something else. Matter of fact, make it verse 28. Now, I'm basking it all right. Yeah, I'm basking it all right. He said, for thou will light my candle. For Yah my God will enlighten my darkness. And remember, he gave us light. He said, in him was light, and the light was what? The life of men. He said, for by thee I have run through a troop, and by my God I have leaped over a wall. Then Yahshua run through a troop because he overcame at the end. You got to be willing to trust in God. No, you're going to do the same. He said, as for God, his way is perfect. The word of Yah is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. This man just said his way is perfect. Let's find his way, y'all. Isaiah 35:8. Let's find his way. Because it don't make no sense if we... Isaiah 35:8. Don't make no sense to have a perfect way and you don't be perfect. It just don't make no sense. Oh, yeah. You did get it like yourself now. Nicole said, yeah, you did do a pretty good job, everybody. Still need to get you another guard, though, man. So it don't look like I go ball on the top. It look like that sometimes. Then again, it just might be because it's low and I'm just tripping. Who knows? And it could be me. Am I tripping? I'm just asking. I'm not saying that that's the case. I could be. I said, could I be tripping? Didn't I not? Oh, sometimes it seems like it's too low, and the waves just like this or something. I don't know, man. It might just be the light. He said, "And a highway shall be there, and the way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein." So now we see the way is also perfect, and it's a set apart way. It's a perfect and it's a set apart way. Look at Jeremiah 6:16. Because the man already told us in Jeremiah once already, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. If you follow these false prophets and the false example that they set, you follow in the way of death. But if you follow the way of Yah, which is his son, and you follow the example he set, you'll get life. Jeremiah 6:16. Make it 15. He said, were they ashamed when they committed abomination? Nay, they were not all ashamed. Neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down, saith Yah. See, that's the whole key thing. When people commit their abomination, they're not even ashamed. They're not even ashamed. He said, thus saith Yah, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. He said, I done set forth a good example for where you to go, but you say you don't want to walk in it. He said, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. He said, I sent men to warn you, who were living according. Remember what we read with Paul. Paul said those that preach the gospel also do what? He said the Lord ordained that those that preach the gospel also do what? Live it. That it doesn't make sense to send somebody to preach something that they don't do. Doesn't make sense to do so. So look here. So this man said, I sat up there. He didn't hearken to it. Remember what the Lord said? We piped under you. You ain't danced. You ever played some music, ain't nobody get up and dance? And this was a situation where people should be dancing. You ever cried to somebody? You done lent it to somebody, they ain't crying with you. I'm crying out to you. I'm telling you to turn. I'm living accordingly to let you know. You see how I'm living? You get life from this. You see what you're doing? You're going to die. See, look at Luke 13 before we get to John 14. Look at Luke 13, verse 1. What you say, boy? No, go ahead. Be a man about it. Verse 1. Be a man about it. You got something to say?
What verse?
This verse.
13?
Kicks and bums.
Yeah. Whatever. Like that. When you get down, I can go that mic.
Oh, I bet you won't whoop me.
That's how you can go that mic.
Oh, good what? Because I told you, nigga, your glutes going to be in trouble in 30 to 45 minutes? Because I was going to kick you square in it.
Yeah. You see how he trying to.
He said it was gay for me to say that.
Yeah, it was very homosexual.
Not actually, because I didn't think about touching your bums other than with my size 11 slide. Because I ain't had no shoes on. Who?
You see that, right?
It doesn't. Nobody cares.
You see that, right?
One person was present when it was stated.
And he said, that nigga, you gay.
You know what I'm talking about? You already asked Nicole.
He concurred.
You know what I'm talking about? We concurred it was gay for you to break wind around grown men.
No, you concurred that because that's what they do in prison.
I mean, that's not cool. That's highly disrespectful.
Nigga, all me in prison?
It doesn't
That's
matter.
all win. My domain, nigga.
No, don't mean nothing, man. You break wind around me, that's inviting somebody to your bum.
Nigga, leave.
Don't invite nobody to your bum.
Leave.
Don't invite nobody to your bum. Nobody wants an invitation to your bum. That's poop back there. That's feces. That's excrement. That's waste. That's bacteria. That is disgusting. It is what it is. It's nasty. You pass gas around me one more time, I'm going to punch you square in your face. These old Panamanian niggas, I promise, send this nigga back on the boat when he came on. But Luke 13 and 1. Dude, that nigga came through the Suez Canal. You know what I'm talking about? He said they were present at that season, some that told of him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices. And Yahshua answering said unto him, suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans because they suffered such things. Ain't that's what people say when people go through stuff? Oh, that nigga was a sinner because he had to be going through something. You know how people be doing that? Or they want people, child molesters and murderers, they want them to catch it. You know what I'm saying? Or they know, I don't know if y'all ain't, you ain't never been around no whole bunch of real sour type niggas. You know what I'm talking about? But I done been around a bunch of sour type niggas, and when them niggas get killed or go to prison, you know, niggas be happy. You know what I'm talking about? Like they getting what they wanted. With the Lord saying, well, look here, man. He say, suppose when that Pilate killed these men and mixed their blood with the sacrifices, you think they top-notch sinners? That's what the Lord told. I tell you, nay. But except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. And of those 18 upon whom the tower in Shalom fell, and slew them, think ye that they were sinners above all men that dwelt in Jerusalem? I tell ye, nay. But except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. Man say, guess what? Just like how we seen how that girl truck got split in half. You'll sit there and look at it and be like, this man got to be a sinner. You know what I'm talking about? You go and hit a tree and it hit your, and we seen the truck too. It was pretty brutal. Like literally split an SUV in half. You see how serious that is? I want you to see something Acts 28 though. Huh?
Yeah, I guarantee that. Guaranteed.
I know that, but I wouldn't expect that. And that wasn't like it was an oak tree or nothing. That SUV is a pretty big automobile.
Yeah, that's a pretty big tree.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it was an oak though.
I don't know what it was.
Acts 28 and 1. Yeah, either way it go. It split that tree and split that individual.
Yeah, tree and get split.
Yeah, the tree. I meant to say it split that truck and that individual. Because definitely the tree didn't even look like he lost a bar.
It look like a leaf fell off that one.
But we have to look at this here, that when you see stuff happen to certain people and you know they were sinners, that man just told you just because that happened to them, look here, if you don't repent, same thing gonna happen to you. Because you're not walking in the way, because they didn't hearken. He said, I set watchmen over your hearts. So nothing came to my mind. He said, and when they were escaped, they knew that the island was called Melita. And the barbarious people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received every one because of the present rain, because of the cold. And Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, and there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand. And when the barbarians saw this venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer, of whom though he escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffer not to live. And you see this here, they said this man got to be a murderer. They say he escaped his shipwreck, but a snake bit him. Let's see what Paul did though. He said he shook off the beast into the fire and it felt no harm. Remember when the Lord say you'll be able to deal with poisons and all these things, ain't nothing gonna hurt you. Hold on, let me show you what it's at. The little monkey looking like she don't know what that's at.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. What else did he say?
And then you got these stupid charismatic preachers be sticking around here, Mark 18, 16 and 18. Then you got these stupid preachers who will come out there and stick their hands in there with snakes and get bit by snakes. The Lord is going to heal me. Nigga fall out and die like a dummy. You know what I'm talking about? When the book tell you don't tempt y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Did he sit here and say, let me find the snake for it to bite me? Let me find me a snake with the bite me. The law tell you don't tempt y'all like you did at Massa. Don't tempt the man. Remember, because Satan came and asked him, well, if you be the son of God, jump off these rocks. You know what I'm talking about? See, we have to look at that there, man. Just because you know you following the man, people going to come up there. That's the first thing you need to tell them. Don't tempt y'all thy God. When somebody come ask you to do something stupid, this like this, well, prove you a child of God. I ain't got to prove nothing. I ain't got to tempt the Lord. He say, they shall take up serpents. And if they shall drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. Because he said these will be signs to follow them that believe. You see what he said? It shall follow them that believe. So those that believe, when they see them signs, they ain't going to believe too. Because remember, that ain't for nobody who don't believe. See, that would be a heavy thing to sit there and see that. Look what they said in here back to verse 6 and what they said about Paul when that happened. In Acts 28. Say, howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly. But after they looked a great while, saw no harm come to him, and they changed their minds and said he was a god. You know what I'm talking about? Because remember, these barbarians and these stupid niggas will tell you these were Israelites. Ain't no Israelite gonna sit there and say, oh, a snake bit him, he gotta be a god. Ain't no Israelite that stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no Israelite that stupid. What was that for that? Luke 13. This son came to my mind, I done forgot it. Happy for you, huh? That make you happy, that don't you right? And we were about to end it, but when stuff come to mind, But I just forgot it. John 14. 3 hours later would be 1 o'clock in the morning. No, it was 9:59 when you said that. Okay, we had 2 hours and 11 minutes. You know what you got to do? Yeah, I ain't been doing a lot of that. John 14 and 4. He said, whither I go ye know, and the way ye know. Thomas saith unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest. How can we know the way? The man just sat there and told you the way I'm going. You know where to go. We already know. The way is perfect and the way is holiness. You know which way to go. I've been showing it to you. Look what else he said. Yahshua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come unto the Father but by me. Which means you're going to have to, what did he tell him in Matthew? Follow me, right? He consistently told you to follow him. If he's telling you to follow him, ain't he telling you to mimic him? Do what I do. Paul say, be followers of me, as I'm a follower of the Messiah. Follow the example I'm setting, because I'm following the example. See, we have to remember that now. And if you want to win people to the word, follow the leader. Follow the Lord. And he says, if you had known me, you should have known my Father. From henceforth, you know him and have seen him. Because I came and I done set forth the example. I done manifested this man in every shape, form, or fashion that you may follow him. And Philip said unto the Lord, show us the Father, and it suffice us. Yahshua said unto him, I have been so long time with you, and yet thou hast not known me, Philip. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. How say thou, show us the Father? Because remember, didn't Yahshua manifest all the works of his Father? He said, I've been with you this long. You know the song. What song that is? You know what old school song niggas like to sing? Where he say the same thing?
Did you know how many songs there is? Old school songs that say the same thing?
No, he said, how long I done been with you and you ain't known me?
You talking about, no.
He said, if you ain't known me by now,
Yeah.
you ain't never gonna know me.
Yeah, that's one I I think.
You know what I'm talking about? He's sitting here telling him, I done been with you all this time, Philip, and you still don't know me?
If you don't, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Blind
You know what I'm saying? You say you never. And see, that's the key thing of why a lot of people ain't gonna be saved, because if you ain't known the Lord by now, you ain't never gonna know him. If you've been sitting there being taught of the word. When you look at most of these Israelite camps and these false churches, do they know him? They don't even know him. So guess what that means? There it is. He just broke it down to you. And I'm talking about in the falsetto that'll raise the dead. There you go, know it. Look at here, verse 9 though. Verse 10, he say, believe thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. He said, the words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwell in me. He do the work. He's sitting there telling you, the word comes from my Father. The works that I'm doing, I'm being told to do of my Father. They testify of you seeing him because I'm working the work. So guess what? When somebody see you, shouldn't they look at you and be as if that's the Lord himself? No? Okay, hold on. I still got that one matter I told you about, Drew, and I ain't forgot about it. We'll do that separately. Give my brother-in-law a chance to go get into bed. He said, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe on me for the very work's sake. He said, if you don't believe me for what I say, believe me for what I do then. You know what I'm talking about? Because what I was just telling y'all, Drew, earlier, I can show you better than I can tell you. Since you don't believe me when I tell you, I'll show you and you'll believe me then. He say, truly, truly, I say unto you, he that believe on me and the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So then he just said, if you believe me, you're going to do the same thing I do then. So I mean, if you follow my example, you can be able to do what I'm doing. That's the mind we got to have. You need to follow the man's example. That's why he told the elders, be an example to the flock. Because wasn't the chief elder an example to the flock? You know what I'm talking about? This is a key thing. The people that's teaching us the word should be able to uphold that standard of righteousness that the Lord held, so that all of us would want to meet it. You know what I'm talking about? We sitting dealing with people that don't even make you want to elevate yourself to raise your game. Just like when now, you know, dude say he came in and got a vasectomy. Yeah, that's pretty rough. So he just come back from getting a vasectomy.
Ooh.
Nigel.
Dang.
Yeah.
Sucks for him.
He said he got 5 kids. He ain't want no more. But
That still ain't wrong.
But he was saying, man, he was asking me where I was at, because he know you are, and you know this too, because you done seen it. You know when Nick and Matt in there, what happens? The intensity get crunk up. You know what I'm saying? There'd be time, like when we were playing with Bro, you know what I'm talking about? You know, we were playing pretty hard, you know what I'm saying? I like Bud, you know, Buddy went hard, because he showed was killing us with them jumpers last night.
Yeah, he wasn't hitting nothing.
What you say? I was thinking the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? I was talking about splashed us in every which way loose the night before. Ain't hit nothing. But he did other things, though. I give him that. But it's certain people that you can play in an athletic event where you might play hard, but if you got other people across from you, they'll make you raise your game up a tad level, because I just got to stomp a mud hole in this nigga. I got to do it. You know what I'm talking about? And you got to have a leader or an elder or the congregation or overseer. They got to be. Does it make sense to sit down and listen to somebody that don't even make you want to elevate your game? I wouldn't even want to, like that coach you were telling me you played under. That's a coach I know you didn't want to play for him. I did with busting your ball. I know full well you didn't want to play for a man. Ain't even want you to elevate your game. You don't even make a man want to get amped up to play. You know what I'm talking about? Well, these false prophets, whether they Israelite or in Sunday church, they don't make you want to elevate yourself like this here to put away things you ain't got no business doing. They ain't setting forth an example to say, you know what, I need to meet that mark. Not just on the spiritual level, but naturally too. But you know what it is. John 5:39. I got something to show this young man about men standing up and being a man. This is separate from this right here, though. John 5:39. It says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come unto me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of God in you. For I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. He said, how can you believe, which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from God only? That's why people can't set forth example, because they seek the honor that come from men and not from God. I say, that was in John 5:39. I say, hallelujah for Yahshua for the word. You understood all that? You got any questions? Especially you, fart boy.